Thinking about you.
Hope you folks had a great day. Newsletter came out today. Another great job, JJ. Another
Yep.
awesome job on that newsletter.
And
I
I
mean,
made the
I'm
newsletter
getting
this time.
got a lot of notes about the art on it. I spread that thing around. If there's a
Right.
Facebook page or a website I can post that thing on, it's there. Some say, whoa, and that's, the ones that say, whoa, the ones that come back and say, post it again, which is great, really great. I see we have a couple of copycat sites out there running around with
Yes.
worldwide wood turners on it. And, it's sometimes good, sometimes bad. The good is, we're being acknowledged. The bad is, don't worry what they do. And sometimes it's not good. But, we keep it clean, we keep it straight, we do all right. And we keep it clean and we keep it straight. And all I've seen is positives, folks, just positives. We have Level Up shaping up very nicely. Need to move that along a little bit for you folks that are involved. I'm getting questioned about details on what's happening here and there, and I know it's a good ways away, but it's not that far away. It's really not. One of my buddies passed the other day. He stopped. He saw me out on the veranda, front porch, and he uh, he came by. He said, I'm packed to go to SWAT. I didn't believe him. So when I walked out to his truck, there it was. He's already got a box of wood. He's going to take the swap off. He picks up odds and ends and lumber here and there, meetings and all. And that's what he does. He goes and makes trades, and he finds oddities. And I think I got him nailed into coming up with us and to Wisconsin. I'd like him just to come through with his oddities because it's things that you say, "Oh, you turn out. How's that come out?" And he's always got a sample with him. And that's the good part about these kinds of meetings is you bump the people that have done the most unusual thing with the most unusual turning pieces or combined pieces or accented pieces, um, that you just say, where you come up with that at? And that's what Level Up is supposed to do. It's supposed to open the cavities in your mind so you can absorb new ventures. And I'm looking at some of the work we have, some of the ideas we are getting coming in from our demonstrators, and I'm amazed by some of the stuff coming up. My recent promo I'm working on right now, I didn't get it produced today, but it features JJ, yeah, and some of his work. And yeah, it's those kinds of things. I like what we're doing because here I got one demonstrator who writes our newsletter, publish it, not writes it, publish it, gets it out, created it, all that. And then we have another demonstrator who is the webmaster for our website. So we're not just talking to wood turners, we're talking to regular people who happen to be wood turners, or wood turners happen to be normal people. I don't know how you put that, but we're finding that there's a whole lot laying underneath this blanket, and it's really good when I see that coming out. And I saw some art come up on a Facebook page today that were really good, folks. Y'all do us honors when you put that up there. I mean, it's just beautiful, and we're getting it. We've seen a lot of members that were with us earlier on, very, very involved, that we see occasionally, but to see how their work has progressed and what they're up to, wow, they came along really nice, really nice. That one piece that JJ put up this morning was a copy of a piece that he saw in a demo. That was excellent. It really was. And something's wrong with the Mac I'm using that I can't do share on this. I'm having a little problem getting shares up, so I can't pop a picture up and show you. And I get it all lined up and everything, but when I go there, it's not there. So tomorrow I'm going to scrub this version of Vision out of there and put a new one in and see what happens. I'm afraid to touch it too close to when we do the meeting because sometimes it won't let me back. But seeing some beautiful work coming up, I'd like to see it. But more than that, I saw 2 or 3 times this week where members or friends of the club have posted pieces that are in sequence, or no, how do you say that? Sequence in process. I'm building this, I'm putting this together, and this is how I got to this point, and then I took it to this point, and then I did this, and all that, and it came out like that. Um, that's great turning. That really is, because that lets you put that in there and say, man, you know what? I can do that when I turn this and that and another thing and that other stuff. And it kind of opens up the venues and the alleyways that we can travel. Um, and I saw Roper do a platter last week. Roper said he spent, a pretty good bit of time on that platter. When you look at the detail that went into it, then you realize that he copied technique that he'd seen in bits and pieces. And then he put it all together and put it into one piece. And it made a magnificent piece. He said, who do you credit it to? What's he going to say? The world? And that's what I like seeing around here, folks. When you do that, when you put that together, give it where you got to some ideas and who you think led you down the path. Who brought you there? Because that's really what I want to know is where did this trail begin? We're going to get a little ambitious in the next couple of months. I want to know more about you. I do. I think it's time for us to start opening up that black box in the backyard and seeing what's in there. I would like to get some personal stories sent to me about who you are and why you do this that you do. And I just think I'd like to write an article occasionally that would express what our members do and where they came from and who they are. We're not all just wood turners, are we? I mean, I see a pawpaw or two, and I see I see a doctor, I see somebody that takes care of getting their grandbaby puppies, another guy that's babysitting, or not babysitting, but helping his wife heal from an injury, or a knee ailment, so they can get back on a cruise boat, right, Billy? I mean, that's what you're doing down there, Billy. Yeah. Until you get home into a cruise boat, life is going to be hell. And we got all the we have a mishmash of people here, and there's a story behind each and every one of you. And this is not the Naked City or one of those TV things, but there's a story that's interesting behind each and every one of you. And I think we could take a little bit out of each one of those stories and explain what goes on, and maybe bring some other folks into life to understand that this is not, it's not a sin, it's actually a vow. And once you get here, how do you let go? How do you get away from it? Aren't there days where you can't stand it unless you go out and spin some wood or make some shavings?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And when you get home and work just flat out sucked, and you're going to go out and, I don't care if I blow it up, I'm going out and turn some wood. Because that's my relief. That's where I can feel me coming out, and I can get there, and I can put a little effort into it. And no matter what they say, I can be creative, and I can beat that damn stick, and that's, I want to know, how do you feel about that? What do you do? So we'll put that out. I'll let you know how we're going to do it. But all I want is a paragraph or two. Where did it come from? Why do you do it?
I I had an interesting sort of journey along those lines right before the meeting here, Eddie. I'm sort of prepping, and I've got several shelves above my computer here that all have stacked with woodwork and stuff. But I had a bunch of things out. I was going through a bunch of things here, some of the things that I've done recently. I don't know if y'all can see that, but
Yeah.
it's a sort of a and I'm doing it in prep for doing something else. For I'm doing an interview and that kind of stuff on Sunday. But it's an interesting sort of walk through what I've done recently. So I don't know. It's pretty cool. It's like, it's we live for those days when you make something in the shop and stand back when you're done and say, "Wow, is that cool? I can't believe I made that." So I got a lot of that going on here.
Yeah.
All I seen was pizza.
But haven't we all got done at the end of the day in the shop or after an hour or two in the shop and look at something and say, man, I made that. And look at it. It's, or when you get done, say, wow, next time, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to polish up this and when they get that, I can take one additional step. But where am I going to go for that step? And on Facebook, we had a member, and I hope they're here tonight. I didn't get to copy the name down, but a guy said, I'm just getting started. I'm looking for help. I'm bound to a wheelchair. And Dane, do you remember the gentleman's name? Dane, you're mute.
Gregory Hickman.
Yeah, Gregory Hickman. And he said, hope you can help. I spoke up and Dane spoke up for every one of you. We committed every one of you to helping Gregory.
Yep.
We said, you're right. We can help you. We can help find somebody who is like you, who may be in the same situation you are. And all you have to do is say, hey, I'm Greg, and I got a problem. And it's not that we'll push your button and turn you off and send you away. Man, we'll embrace you, Greg. We'll take you under the wing and fly right with you. Let you fly with us. That's what I like about this relationship. It's not like you're not in a hierarchy. You are the hierarchy. The only reason we do this is to share information, be equals. And I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. But what I love more is when we openly express our want to do this and help somebody else. So if there's something we can help you with, folks, it doesn't really matter how trivial you may think it is. And please don't sit back thinking we would ever make fun of you. We have a no but guarantee. We started that on day one. We'll live with it. Nothing is more important than your opinion. Nothing. And we're not here to judge you or your work. So if you say, I want you guys to judge a vote on this or judge on this, we talk about it. But to hold up cards and say you get a 10 or a 4 or a 3 or whatever, I'm not in your shop. I'm not with you. I don't know what's in your heart and how it came out or what your abilities are. How am I going to judge you on that? So, I want to see what you can do and how you do it. And damn, I'm going to probably learn from it. Even if in your heart you think it's the dumbest thing that's ever happened, I'm going to learn from it. I am. I'm going to learn how not to do that. And sometimes that's more. Think about something your dad told you were a kid. You're going to learn not to do that. Didn't he tell you that?
Mm-hmm.
Did he tell you? Mine normally was right after I got this upside the head. You're going to learn not to do that, And sometimes we need that thump upside down. I'm not in for child abuse, but I'm for good counseling. And good counseling left that flat spot right there.
right? Yeah, it took about 20 years for that flat spot to fill back in for me.
Oh, yeah. I was,
Sorry,
You know what though? You know what, guys? This it's a hobby for me, and I've always done things. I've made really gigs, and I've plaques and a lot of things. Before I got into wood turning, but this wood turning, it's like you want to go out of your way, and you want to go and show somebody that doesn't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's something that like it's a different kind of a hobby for me. I mean, yeah, you can show somebody how you cut a piece of board or you build a house, stuff like that. But this is, I mean, the person that came here and bought my lathe, and we had it all packed up. Yeah, he wanted it's packed up. I couldn't let him go for 15 minutes. My wife was here. She goes, "Why didn't you just let him go?" I said, "There was so much I wanted to tell him." He was a younger fella. It's like it's different. It's just a different kind of a hobby to me. That's to me. I don't know
it
if
is.
other people feel,
Well, it's
but
it's more obsession or passion than it is a hobby. I don't know how you
it's
guys
almost like
feel,
what
but
you just said. You had your pieces and you look back today, Matt. I'm talking to you. How you look
yeah,
back and you looked at them. It's a different kind of gratitude, self gratification. It's something different. I mean, you know a piece of wood that you're starting
An
off with.
endorphin release.
What's that?
It's an
you said
endorphin
endor-
release.
Yeah. I mean, there's something different to this.
Man,
It's a challenge. Like I said, if it comes out close to the way you were planning it, it's self gratification. Um, I don't know. I mean, that's the way I see it, and you know, that's you just want to. It like jumps out. You know, here's what I learned from it. Here's what I saw somebody do. Here's something. But
It's
Right.
a hobby you
it's
just
just
get hooked on.
it's oh yeah. I mean, you could always hear about going down the rabbit hole. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what everybody calls it. But
An
no, it's
obsession.
just it is an obsession. It really is, Del. It is. It's a
and
nice
then you
one.
get out,
It's a
and
nice
then you realize you're not just out there turning wood, you're machining stuff, you're you're creating, and what did we do a couple of weeks ago? Um, Scott, at the last minute, because we had some confusion or whatever, at the last minute, we had a member step up and build tools for you. Now,
Yeah.
that wasn't in the bailiwick that night. That wasn't that. That was something that would have, if he needed to do that on that item on that day in his shop on a chance, this hobby, this habit, this venture he's down allows him to do that. That's what I like. I could go out today and say I'm going to go out wood turn, but I got to put on some denim. Well, I said, why? Well, I got to weld a few things. Well, I thought you were going to go wood turning. Well, yeah, there is welding involved, you know. Yeah, yeah, and things, and then when I get done, I'll be sandblasting it, and then later on, a little powder coating will happen. And she said, "But I thought you were going to go do a little wood turning." Well, honey, we do everything. I don't know what you mean. There's no limit to what we do, and that brings out a lot of your creativeness, and that and that's what I want to know more about you folks. I want to know where did it come from? Why did you go down that path? And why are you there? My story is I grew up in a very poor family. We never saw a repairman come to my house ever, with one exception. My daddy bought a Sears washing machine and he bought the warranty. And that's the only repairman that ever come to our home, was that one guy for that one washing machine. And a big ruckus family we had, we wore that damn machine out. He was a real regular friend. And my dad always said that was the best investment I ever made. I said, in the washer? He said, no, in that warranty. Because they were all junk machines. I just got out, I got lucky and bought the warranty. But you learn how to do everything. And in learning how to do everything, you became fearful of nothing. And I don't think we are fearful of anything. We attack anything. And we're going to see that tonight. We're going to see where you've stepped up and taken bulls by the horn and turned out some awesome work. I want to see that awesome work, but I want to see what comes out of you and your wood turning and your planning and your producing and everything else that goes with it. And if you've got an idea for a project or something, let's hear about it. I was very amiss. I did not know about your burl competition. How the heck did I miss it? Where did I go to the bathroom or what? And I missed this. You had a burl competition and I missed it?
What burl competition?
It was in the newsletter.
Can I say something?
It wasn't a competition, just a challenge.
Oh, okay. Clear me up here. I'm in a fog. I live in kind of a fog, but hey, help me out here. It was a challenge?
Yeah, I posted it on the Facebook group and said, hey, show us your burl.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
last
care.
week.
and I missed it. Ain't that something? I got a gorgeous piece, man. I really would have dug it out. But, that's fun. I miss those kinds of friendly things where you don't have anything more than say, look what I did. And that's what we do here. Look what I did. Makes for a whole lot. I miss that part of going to local club meetings. What I had a local club here and we were not regimed and marched and all that other stuff, whatever. And we just go have fun talking wood turning. I missed that first hour. That was kind of relaxed, and people showed the things they created and came up with. They did show the major screw ups. There, look at this thing. Look at that. Yeah, just pop right in there, bud. How you make me feel, man. Where's that again, man? Come back with it.
Dean shut it down. Dane shut it down. So if you guys don't want me to show it, that's fine.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Let's see here. This is something I did a number of years ago. This is a corkscrew willow vase, and it was burl and corkscrew willow, and it was soft. And parts of this piece are still flexible after 100 coats of lacquer and whatnot. But there's my burl, one of my burl pieces.
Wow.
I can imagine so. That is gorgeous. See what happens? See? I'd have to go into the deep the archives to find some of my stuff like that. But that's what we're looking for. Looking for the things without saying you have to do this and you have to do that. Just let's see it. Let's
Eddie,
see
I think you need to start showing some more of your stuff.
I will, Brenda.
Pictures or something. I mean, I know I've seen your cowboy hats. Made me jealous. Oh.
Those my treasures. Unfortunately, I have one remaining. Everything else has been given away or auctioned off. And I see another one when I go to one of my daughter's house. And but I had to take some stuff out.
Can you hear me?
But
Yes.
what I really like to see are the things that come from your hearts and your minds, which come up there. And y'all do it. You do it. I'm afraid sometimes when we introduce some of the folks, and y'all know who I'm talking about, they'll pop up tonight. Some of these people, when we just say, "Oh, what do you have?" and pop a name out, that's when everything else stops in the whole house, and all the focus goes to the screen because I gotta see what they come up with. We have a handful of turners that are like that, and I'm going to drop a name. I want to drop a name and all because it might be offending to some people who do it that don't realize they do it. But when you come up with something, let us know. And it's time to do that. It's a little bit after the top of the hour. And we do gallery for a little bit, and we'll do a safety Sioux visit, and then we get a demo, and then we talk, and we share all kinds of goodness about wood turning. But first, let me remind you, Level Up is still on the plans, and we still developing programs and projects and pods and things that happen at Level Up. It is the most unusual wood turning event in the world. And it's going to be happening in September 2026. And it is shaping up to be a traffic stopper. It really is. And when I took a hard look at what was coming up in a couple of future symposiums by other folks, we're running with the big dogs. And the fact that, we've got projects and demonstrations that equal or pass that. So it's not by the sleight of hand of a backyard get together. This is a quality program, and it's really coming off really good. Looking to have you there. And don't forget, newsletter came out today, and no matter what you do, share it with a friend. If you got a wood turning buddy that's not a member of this club, you can get it off of Facebook in PDF form. You can copy those pages PDF, and you can send it to them, or you can catch it right off the Facebook in our other formats and pop it to them. Have no problem sharing it. We want that newsletter out there. Print a couple of copies, bring them to your club meetings, drop them off, tell them this is a free publication, just like the world's greatest website dealing with wood turning is absolutely free. And that's hosted by Dave Rhodes. And he does an awesome job of it. You find one better, let me know. You'll be searching forever without word. But that's it. If you got something to show tonight, go to the chat right now. Put in and say, I have something to show. We have a couple of co-hosts that watch the chat. They're recording that. And when you said, we'll introduce you, have your goods right there. Pull them up and say, let me tell you about this, but be ready. We're going to ask you what the finish is. That's important. No matter what, we're going to ask you what the finish is. Okay. With that, what's the finish?
All right. So, yeah. What's the finish? What's the wood? All that good stuff. So let's go ahead and kick gallery off straight up here. Matt, you wanna start pulling up some gallery for the?
Hey, you know that
Sure.
Matt's a celebrity, right?
Not yet.
Yes, we know. He's on tap for it.
I have no idea what this means, guys. So I don't know. I ran into
Well,
met Pat over the
somebody
couple weeks
does that.
ago.
Let that somebody talk. Well, what's he saying?
Well,
Who spoke up?
Pat Carroll from Ireland runs a program called Meet
Right.
the Woodturner, and I'm going to be on the program on Sunday.
Good for you. That's a good show.
Oh boy. All right.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. So, like I say, I have no idea what to expect. So that's what I was looking at all my stuff for. So it's like,
Didn't he send you a list of the questions he's going to ask you?
absolutely he did, but I still don't know what to expect, Ruby. The questions are great. So
It's basically I already went through that, and basically he interviews you and gets your perspective on different things. And then you show your work.
Yeah, and I'm fully prepared to answer everything he's got there. So I tend to over prepare and any of those sorts of, just like if I do for demos, So we'll see. I'm sure it'll be fun.
When is this going to be on?
It's Sunday.
Sunday, what time? Do you know?
I think it's 7 p.m. Ireland time, which is like 2 p.m.
Okay.
Eastern Standard Time.
Okay. All right.
And how do we see it?
I don't know.
If you
Go
go to Pat Carroll's
website.
website and put in Meet the Woodturner, well, there, Joe Keen's, oh no, then it'll take you to or even Google Meet the Wood Turner, and you'll be able to get in.
Yeah, it seems pretty straightforward to do that. So, and we'll see how it goes. So, anyway, Ruby, you're first up for gallery. So, why don't you start us out?
Okay, I've got a couple of items. Not everything has to be serious turning. So, this is Egbert. He died last Friday. Fortunately, he wasn't beaten and he landed sunny side up. He's now on a better plate.
Looks
That's
good to
nice.
me.
That's fantastic.
And then Ron's demo of the cupcake boxes reminded me I hadn't made any in a long time. So I made up a couple of them. But I have to warn you, you have to be careful when you bake them. If you bake it at too high a temperature quickly, the egg inside them has this tendency to become hard boiled. And if you don't have the temperature high enough, what happens is the egg hatches and you end up with a chicken.
That's gorgeous, Ruby.
Well done, Ruby.
Let's see the chicken. Let's see
Really
the
great,
chicken.
Ruby.
Let's see. There you go.
That's cute.
Well, those are wonderful, Ruby.
Like I said, you can't do serious stuff all the time. Sometimes you have to have fun with it. The one with Egbert, I happened to wake up that morning with it and the thought in my head, and I just went right straight downstairs, took scrap pieces of wood. The egg is turned. These eggs are all turned. So
you put the center on where the yolk is?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay, that's it for me.
Cool.
Wow.
Thanks, Ruby. That's great fun.
It's
And next up,
gorgeous.
of course, is Al.
Now I have to follow that. Eggs.
Somebody has to. Might as well be you.
If nobody says that we're going from eggs to rotten eggs.
Well, there you go. Here's a vase. This is Bradford pear with tongue oil. I had the hollow. I haven't closed the bottom up yet. I'm playing around outside all day, but that's
That's
Nice.
nice,
out
Al.
of a log.
I really like the bark texture on Bradford pear, and I'm really delighted to see that you included it in the piece. It's very cool.
I was hoping it was going to stay on. And what we've all been talking about a little bit was now it was working fine. It spun a little bit there. It was working fine. Then I put a coat of oil on it, and it wasn't working at all. That's the most it was doing. And I don't know. Is Wayne on tonight? Is Wayne? I don't know if he's here or not. Anyway, I mentioned something to him one time, and I had made a vase, a nice vase, and nothing wrong with it, and I put a zipper in it, and right next to the zipper, the friggin' thing cracks.
You could stitch that, Al.
Yeah, stitch it now.
Oh, that's an idea.
Mm-hmm.
But
Some lace
You
on
already
it.
it cracks right next to a zipper. That I picked that spot to go and cut it, and then it cracks. But
I love it. I love
that's
it.
an idea.
I'll
That's
check
funny.
this out.
Part what?
Add
What?
some zip ties.
Yeah. Right.
There you go.
Everybody have a good night. Everybody be good. You got it. So
right.
everybody have fun.
Thanks, Al.
Thanks, Al. Next
Okay,
up
guys.
is Dave Kingsley. What you got, Dave?
Well, I decided that I'd get away from round and brown. It's not pretty and it's not really unique. But for me, It was my first attempt at threads.
Oh,
Oh,
sweet.
Cool.
There you go.
And so
You did
that's
a nice
nice
job.
work.
it's not
You did a
super
nice job.
thin, but it's not bad. I'm really proud of it for a first try.
Wow.
And now
What
I'm
kind of
gonna,
wood did you use?
Good job, Dave.
and
No,
I tried to keep that was in
That's
the blank that somebody gave me. And so I had to start by keeping that.
that's
But
cool.
a buddy does pens, he does acrylic pens, and he dumps his overpours into a solo cup. And I get the solo
There
cup
you
once
go.
it's full.
Very
Nice.
cool.
But it's
What do
fun.
you use?
And uh the the kit that I used Sorby 20 TPI thread chasers.
Okay.
And I've learned next time this is going to be a lot thinner. So that it's easier to hollow. But it's a good first step. I'm really happy that it worked.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah,
Good job.
That took
the
a
next
lot of
one will be
time
the
to
next
say.
one. Next one will be better, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm gonna looking to get into that myself too. So cool. Very cool to see. All right. Well, thanks, Dave. Next up is Charlie Bundy. What you got, Charlie?
Okie dokie. This was repair week. If you notice, it's a cross, it's pine, it's got tung oil on it. And this is also a lesson. Don't move your tool rest with your lathe running. It hit right up here where there's, I don't know if you guys, the brass coating. And
We
the
can't
tool
really
rest
see it,
hit
but-
that, shattered it all over. I
Oh,
put it together and filled it with brass. And there's pine borer holes all over it.
nice fix.
Well, good fix, Charlie.
I got
Yeah,
another
it
one
looks
I
like
had
looks
to
like it's
fix.
supposed to be there.
I was in the process, I was going to make a sugar jar.
Oh, wow.
If you see at
Nice.
the bottom, I went through it. I measured how deep my thing was, and I started hollowing, and I went past it. So this top piece is box elder. The pedestal is spalted birch. The bottom is box elder. The lid is silver maple.
Well, it all looks like the same piece of wood. Nice job, Charlie.
Another
I
nice
know, right?
thing.
It turned out better than I
Cool.
thought it would.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Right?
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
cute.
all I had. And there's
Yeah,
no
it looks
finish
great.
on this one yet.
Yeah, it looks
Very
great,
cool.
Charlie.
No,
That's-
when you look
that's-
at that, when you look at the pedestal part, you can see a couple of eyes there. Looks like a woman peeking out from under this great big hat. Turn
Right
around.
there?
Nope.
Yes.
Turn.
There.
There it
There you
is.
go.
There she is.
Back
Yeah,
it, back
I
it,
see
back it
her.
up, back it up, back it up, Charlie. Go back, turn back the other way. There, keep rotating that direction. A little bit more. There you go. Stop right there. There she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, eyes and nose.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I like it.
Hey, Joaquin, you're next. If you want to show stuff, you got to turn your camera on. Thank you, sir.
Yep. Sorry,
you
I've
got,
been in the
JJ?
shop. I'm a mess. So it's been a little while since I've turned one of these, and Kirk Cap's demo earlier reminded me. So I had a nice chunk of that sassafras that was a little bit longer than a cube, so I cut it down, and I was able to get that done today. That's a little Paduke finial.
That's the piece I was
Very nice,
referring to.
JJ.
That's gorgeous.
It
Right.
turned out pretty. I could do a little bit more work sanding. Could have done, but I just was. I had a rough morning. I had a loose dog charge my dogs, and I came home pretty upset. So I decided to get in the shop and calm down, and this is what came out of it. And I
Yeah.
managed. The
Hmm.
lid is part of the end of the same piece of wood, and I managed to get it close enough that it almost looks like it grain matched.
Yes, it
It
does.
Oh, yeah.
does.
I thought
Very
it
well
was
done.
Does. Very
Yeah,
So
nice.
yeah,
that's
our
great.
demos are great. I've done one of these before years ago, but Kirk's demo was like, oh yeah, I forgot about those. I
Yeah.
should make one. So here we go.
Yeah. It was a really good demo.
Nice.
It was. It was excellent. It was excellent. That's. I mean, I have more, but it's all packed up because I got to go set up for a big market tomorrow. So I kept
Well,
that out of the boxes. So
Do
that's
well.
all I got.
That's beautiful.
Good.
Thank you.
Good luck at the market, JJ.
Thanks. It should be a good show.
Great
Good.
newsletter, JJ. Great newsletter.
Thank you, Captain.
Yes.
I couldn't do it without all of your submissions. So please send in photos for the newsletter. And Ruby, I want Egbert for the newsletter. That is fantastic. I want your full explanation, please.
Okay, great.
I'll make sure.
Thanks, Ruby.
Thank you.
Next up is Tom Kenny. What you got, Tom?
I got from the Round and Brown department. Get out of here. I got something on my screen. There we go. Piece of camper. And instead of a screw chuck, I like to start between centers so I can manipulate back and forth. And this had a defect from where the tree was felled. There's a big chunk, about an inch or two, came off of one side. So I was able to move it back and forth and get it back to symmetrical. And finish with Parfix 3408.
Nice.
That's it.
Job at the bottom with his
Did you have
legs.
the doors and
That's nice, Tom.
The shop
Very
smelled
nice.
fantastic for several days after, yes.
Yeah, I bet.
My sinuses are clear. That's all we got.
Beautiful.
You should turn that
Right.
upside down.
How so?
No, upside down so you can see the inside. What does it look like? No, now turn it round.
That way?
Okay, what does it look like?
Looks like a cup at the bottom of it. But
I don't know. It looks like wood to me.
Yeah.
I don't know, Randy.
What are you driving at, brother?
I see a face in the bottom.
Oh, I see it now.
I see a man with a beard.
Yep.
No, that's me.
Yeah.
Good
I
one.
want some of those drugs y'all are taking.
Right. That's what I was getting ready to say. Y'all need to pass that around.
Mm-hmm.
Stop bogarting it.
What happened to your camera?
It's one of those artificial intelligence, and right now it's being artificially stupid. Yeah.
Very
It's
cool. All right,
supposed
well,
to
thanks,
track
Tom.
if I move.
Thanks, Tom. It's a beautiful piece.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next up is Victor Todd. What you got, Vic?
Oh, I'll do a quick little threesome here. Got a 7-inch red maple bowl. I just like the way all this red maple I have keeps turning out. It's about 7 inches. And a little while after that, I did about a 9.5-inch black walnut salad bowl.
Wow.
That's nice.
Got just a little lip on it.
Nice.
Good,
My light
Victor.
just right. My light stinks. And the last one is an ambrosia maple, either plate or platter. It's like 9 3/4. Left it kind of thick so it'd have a little, stability to it. But that's the figure that came out of it.
Beautiful figure.
Oh,
And the two bowls are Brad's workbench tongue wax, and this plate is his tongue honey.
Very cool. Nicely done.
This is my shirt.
Not working from anywhere, right?
Yep.
There you go. I hear you on that.
And
Okay.
that's pretty much all I got for tonight. So thank you.
Thanks, Victor. Next up, Jim and Rita say they've got something.
Who are we going to talk to?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
You go.
Oh, we're fighting over it.
Apparently.
This is intersecting spheres.
There you go.
Awesome.
When two spheres intersect, there's a hole in the middle where they
Oh,
touch.
wow.
Oh, neat.
There you go. Yeah.
Huh.
Great. That is great.
Nicely done.
Thank you. Thank you. I think I
Well,
can
no,
do a third one, but
you just went and brought back all of the interest. I was going to let that job go, but now you brought it back again. Oh my.
Good.
Okay,
Anyway.
okay. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, I
That's a
see. I
piece.
see what
Thanks,
you're
Chris.
doing. I see what you're
That's
doing.
cool, Jim.
It is. It is.
Piece of walnut.
This was your experiment.
Yeah, this is an experiment. I think I can do 3, but I don't know. I'm working on it.
I think you can too, Jim.
Never mind. You got more confidence that I have ability.
In a triangle or linearly?
What?
3 in a triangle
Okay.
or linearly?
In a triangle. Yeah, it could be done literally. Yeah, that could be done. That wouldn't be too hard to do. I might do
In a triangle is an accomplishment I would love to see.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
But
don't
I'm just-
challenge
never
him,
mind.
please.
Never mind.
These challenges are really time-consuming.
I'm done now.
Well, it all depends on how big of a lathe you have for 3 straight in a row. But triangle, that would be a cool one.
Well, maybe someday. Maybe someday.
Did you say someday or Sunday?
Someday.
We'll see it next week.
I draw these. So these are 4-inch spheres. And once you draw it, I know exactly how big the hole is and where it's going to be. So I can draw it in 3, and you just have to switch axes a million times. But
Right. That's what I didn't do.
this is the.
Tell me this, Jim. How do you guys do the outside? I get how you do the inside. How do you do the outside?
The outside?
Put it between centers.
Put it between centers.
Just where he's holding it, Matt.
Between centers and turn a sphere. Well, first thing I did, I screwed tenons on here, and here. And I spun this and put a tenon on the bottom. And I also put a circle around here. Once you got a circle around here and you start the configuration, you've got a pattern for this whole thing. And I did that on both of these. And then I put it between centers, and I just turned off to the ring that I had here. It's not that hard. The inside I just did that with a 1/2-inch scraper. I have all these other tools, and they were just too big to go in there. But anyway, that's a fun.
Jim, we need a demo.
Yeah, someday.
Please do not ever tell Jim that it can't be done.
Well, never mind.
Because
That triangle can't.
he'll be there.
I had an old saying: if I knew it couldn't be done, I wouldn't have done it. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, some of you might know that last year at SWAT, I demonstrated a very simple demonstration on lighthouses. And since then, I've gotten a tremendous amount of feedback from the demonstration, people sending me emails showing me their lighthouses and everything. And Jim told me that last week on here, someone really did have a very nice lighthouse, and I missed it. But I'd like to show you a few that I'm doing that are smaller. This one is on a plaque, which is held down. But this is a paint that you kind of just swish on, and it rolls around and find its own place. So this is like a little ocean scene.
Very nice, Rita.
Then
That's really nice.
Someone,
it's a
someone
pour.
recently, oh, I'm sorry.
It's a pour. The paint
is the pour. Yeah, you pour it on in different colors, and then just let it twirl around. It twirls around, and so it made the sand and the ocean and the waves and so forth.
Cool. Yeah, got it. Okay, cool. Very nice. Thank you.
Twirl pin.
Then someone recently asked me, not related to lighthouses, but someone asked me, what can you do with little pieces of burl that they have left over after they're working with burl and cutting off sides and pieces? So this is what I'm doing with them. I'm putting them on, putting a little lighthouse on a burl.
Nice.
Cool. Very cool. It's a nice effect.
And I have this one.
Here's the camera.
Oh. And also this one.
Oh my goodness.
Very nice.
Oh, I like that.
They're just fun, but they're little miniature things. So we'll see how
you find a very nice art there. That's very pretty. All of
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Lighthouse everywhere. Yeah.
Did Jim fall asleep while you're making those?
No.
What's that?
Did I fall asleep while you're making those?
Not this time. He was busy making his walnut.
I'll never live that down.
No,
no, you will not, Jim.
Not as long as we're around.
I wasn't asleep. I was trying to picture a light.
No.
They
all witnessed it. They all witnessed it.
No,
you were so asleep.
Wasn't.
I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
Anyway. Okay.
Well, very, very fun. Thanks a lot, Jim and Rita. Next up is Ron. Ron's got some stuff, so let's see what Ron in Michigan has got to show us.
Well, I didn't know about the burl challenge, but I have a vase. It's a burl, and I dyed it 3 different colors. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Ooh, pretty.
Yeah. Looks good, Ron.
I left the
Kind
inside
of burl.
natural. This is live oak from Florida.
Oh, okay.
It's got cracks and crevices all over in it. And I didn't want to do lighthouses with my extras, the base. So I actually did acrylic and put the burl pieces in it.
Ooh.
This is a pet urn. Let me turn that backlight off here. There we go. So I only use the plumbing things for, the seal to open it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because they're only like $5. If you don't sell it, you're only out $5.
Yep.
Right.
Everything's finished with lacquer.
Beautiful.
There's just pieces of the burl from other stuff that I'd made.
So it just opens from the bottom?
Yeah, that just screws in.
Yeah. I like that.
Yes. It's a nice idea.
See, it's a drain and the plug from PVC.
Right. Nice idea.
And that piece there is just glued in there then?
Yep. Well, epoxied, yep.
Nice.
Yep, nice idea.
That's all I have.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Ron. And the next up is another Ron from my club, Ron Pullman. What you got, Ron?
And unmute. So, yeah, I didn't know about the challenge either for burl. So there's a little burl bell that I made. I have a little piece of leftover. That's what Rita was talking about too, right? It's too small to throw. You don't want to throw these pieces away, right? They're pretty wood.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Very nice.
That's it.
All right. Well, thanks,
All
Ron.
righty.
Dane, that's all at the end of my list here. So
Oh wow.
I'm going to send it
We're
back.
at the-
I'm going to send it back to you. So
All right. Well, just get the program rolling a little sooner then. Let's I know Sue is on, so let's get our safety moment going, and then we can jump into our demo. Sue, I got you now. You're muted.
Unmute. There we go.
There we go.
Dane doesn't read his text, but that's okay. I didn't have a safety talk really prepared for tonight. I haven't been feeling well.
Oh.
But
I'm sorry.
that's all right. That's all right. I want to talk about people who are turning things on the lathe, and the lathe starts vibrating. So if it starts vibrating, it's going too fast for the item that's on there, and it can be dangerous. Also, and I know, and I've done it. You're gonna say, "Oh no, not Safety Sue." When I was doing that lady's body that we had on a demo a couple of weeks ago, I found that if I went over 450, the lathe started vibrating, and then when I went above 600, it stopped. So evidently, I got it up over 600 so that I could turn it. But that happens in a lot of cases. But remember, you're in charge of the safety in your own shop. I was watching some safety videos this past week, and one guy admitted, he goes, he was going to turn a piece that was a little bit bigger than he's used to. And he's saying, well, for all pieces I'm doing that are end grain, I just go ahead and just use my safety goggles. It's not going to come off and hit me. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, no. Yes, your goggles or your safety glasses are your first line of protection. The second line of protection is your face shield. So make sure you wear your face shield at all times. And please don't give a demonstration on YouTube that says different. So take care this week, you guys. Please be safe, and I'll see you all next week.
Thank you.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you, Sue.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Let's swing over to Pat's. He's got his lighthouse, so Rita can see it. We got you, Pat.
Okay, this is the lighthouse that was inspired by Rita's, and it's a piece of white oak limb, and it's all this is solid, and I hollowed this part out and trimmed it with a rotary tool and put a light in it.
Well done.
Cool. Very cool. Rita's giving you the thumbs up, Patrick.
Thank you.
Very
And while
nice. That's really that's almost a life-size lighthouse. It's pretty.
It's I think it's 18 inches tall.
Wow.
Beautiful, beautiful, really neat, very neat.
The rails on
I
it
like
are
the light in it.
toothpicks.
Yeah. What kind of wood?
It's white oak, so it's just a limb.
Yeah.
It broke out of a white oak, and I picked it up and said, "I'm gonna make a lighthouse."
Not me.
Very, very pretty.
I have to be honest.
Very unique.
Well,
Thank you. Thanks for showing that again.
Sure, no problem. And while I'm here, I'll go ahead and show this piece that I posted on Facebook that was inspired by Dewey.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's a piece of
That's really
ash
Mm-mm.
And the handles are black walnut, and the top is black walnut. And it's hollowed to about 1/4 of an inch.
Mm-mm.
That's a great
My,
piece.
That's pretty.
that is lovely.
Wow.
It's was dyed black to start with, and I sanded that back and put red dye on it, and then finished it with clear enamel.
Beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
How'd you
Very
put the handles on? Same way, stick and hold.
Epoxy.
Okay. No rubber bands.
No rubber bands. Like I said, stick them on there and hold them.
Right. That's what I was saying. Stick and hold.
Yep,
Hold
exactly.
the hold the handle.
That's it.
It's a real pretty piece. Real pretty piece. Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.
You know, you're kidding about rubber bands, but the handles have hooks on them. You could actually hook rubber bands in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but getting the tension right on both sides is tricky. It always wants to pull from one side or the other.
Yeah, I can see that happen. All right, thank you, sir. All right, let's
Thank you.
let's go to Tim Hatch. He's got something to show for us. Hey, Tim.
Hey, good evening, everyone. So somebody once said, if you can hold it, you can turn it. Well, if you can hold it, you can sand it. My wife made this gourd, and of course, it was fractal burned when she purchased it. But she did the inlay on it and wanted me to sand it for her. And I said, well, we just put a little glue block on there and
There you go.
and gave me a way to sand it for her. So that's one thing. Next door neighbor's dog got put down today, so they asked me to make an urn. We knew it was coming because she ended up with cancer. So this is part of my burl project. This is that eucalyptus that I got from you, Dane. I did obviously a little red inlay in there, but it's coming along. This thing was, probably twice that size last night when I started. So first time I've actually done resin in the pressure pot. So it's a learning experience. I'll probably do an article on all the mistakes I made and what I learned out of it. So if somebody's
That's a good idea.
And then this is a piece of pecan. Of course, I had to fill in some cracks with some CA glue and some brass. That's a work in progress. I'm in the process of building my own little visualizer. I've got a 13-inch TV out in the shop and a camera and everything already set up. I'm just waiting for an adapter to go on my Trent Bosch stabilizer hauling tool. I've got my laser on my elbow tool, but want to try to do that visualizer thing. So that's what I'm in the process of doing. But I appreciate it.
How you like that eucalyptus?
I'm sorry.
How you like that eucalyptus?
I love it. I love it. It's coming out super nice. It's I haven't had a chance to get out in the shop and do a whole lot with anything between illness and friggin' work and doing the garden and all the other happy stuff. So finally getting out in the shop and getting it straightened out and getting a chance to turn. So one of the biggest things I learned on the resin last night, don't be too rough with it. Don't think you can rough it out like a piece of wood. It will chip, it will fracture, it'll do all kinds of crazy things. So low and slow and sharp tools. So.
Yes.
All right. That's
advice. All right. Thank you, sir.
Get down.
All right. Let's go see Mr. Grinstad. Hey, Bob.
Yeah. Hey, guys. I have let me get this thing off here. I have another walnut bowl here.
Oh my goodness.
That,
wow.
turned out real good.
Wow.
That's Parfex 3408. But yeah, it has lots of character. Very pretty bowl.
That's
that's a
pretty
cool.
Yeah,
Did you say that was walnut?
Walnut. Yeah, this is the third one I've gotten out of that tree that it's this color.
Is
Most
that
of them are the dark
is
walnut.
that textured? Is that textured? Is that textured right there on that rim?
Yeah, that's textured.
Uh-huh.
That's that whatever it is, sorbet texturing tool, you know.
Right.
That's the big one. But yeah, anyway. I think I textured the bottom of this one too a little bit.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
Looks great, Bob.
All right. Yep. Well, thanks. But these turned out great.
Well, thanks for showing that.
Yeah. That's it. I got it.
How many more pieces you going to have like that?
I think that's it. I don't think I have any more. I've got two. I had them marked down as having two more pieces. I don't know what I did with them. I might have gave them away, but you never know.
Okay.
They might show up.
Yeah. Hopefully they do.
A stack of bowls. I got them dated and numbers on them, but I don't know where the other two.
Right. Well, thank you.
Yep.
All right, let's go back to Mr. Phipps.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Todd.
So I have a big bowl to show also. I think I showed, I've been doing these little tops, and I had this piece of walnut on the lathe that was, I don't know, like 5 inches long or something. I made this little top out of it. And so when I was done with the top, I had about 2 inches of wood left on there. So I just made a little, little cup, a little bowl there. The little foot here on the bottom is like the exact size of the inside of my one-way Talon chuck, so I could put that thing between the grooves and hold it to sort of finish the sand out and everything in the middle of it after I threw it off the lathe doing the bottom. So just something silly with the piece that was on there. So
cute.
Well,
nice. Exact opposite of Bob's.
Will that spinner that top, will that spin on the bottom of that cup like what Paul showed a week ago?
It probably would, but
look at that.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do it again. Every time I do it, I'll flick them off of something. So, but it, when it's done, it's not going to stay on there. It'll go falling off, and I'll chase it across the floor. So
nice job.
Yeah.
Well done, Todd.
It's fun stuff to do when I'm out in the shop trying to avoid chores for my wife. I mean when I'm out there looking at how to finish yard projects.
Just in case she watches it back, right?
Exactly. I'm sorry. What's that, honey? No. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. All right. Well, all right. Well, with that, let's. You guys want to see a demo tonight?
Heck yeah.
Yes.
Do we have to?
Well. Yeah. Yeah. So we got Mr. Doug Miller in the house tonight. He's kind enough to invite us into his shop. He's going to do a neat little project for us. Simple housekeeping. Everybody, I'll be muting everybody. We'll monitor questions in the chat. I'll ask them at opportune times when Doug's doing a tool changeover or he's got to pause during the turning so as not to interrupt his concentration while he's turning. So once I mute everybody, please keep your mics on mute. Don't unmute yourself to do whatever. So with that, I'm going to mute everybody. Doug, you'll have to unmute yourself.
All right. Well, okay. I'm gonna
take since I've got the floor, let me take just half a second. 9.5 by 4 oak. This is a piece of JJ wood that he collected right after Helene, and I've got another one just like it, about the same size and everything. Does still have the tenon on it. I got to take that off yet, but other than that, I mean, I've got to take that off, get the bottom finished. I'd like to get one more coat of oil on the inside and out. It's got 2 coats on it. Like to get 2 more or 1 more coat on it. Let it dry for 2 or 3 days, and then buff it. Don't want it shiny, but I want just a little bit of sheen. So anyway, that's what I've gotten accomplished this week, other than some tops. Todd was with me there last week, and we got some tops done. Did some more tops up at Woodcraft in Dayton, Ohio, Saturday, and I was almost done with the first one, and this gentleman and his young son, about 7 years old, comes in. I looked at the little boy. I said, "What's your favorite color?" He says, "Red." So I pulled out a red marker, painted it up red, got it off the lathe, handed it to him. You'd have thought I gave him $100. He was
Nice.
tickled pink. It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
With that, let me change my camera here, and I'll show you what's going on for tonight. We've got, there we go. That's a piece of walnut. I just had a tape in my hand. Here it is. 10.5 inches roughly diameter, and it's 2 3/8 thick. And I'm going to start off. I'm going to turn a plate, basically. Very plain, very simple. But it's what we're going to do with the plate. We're not going to leave it as a plate. Plates are great projects. People love them. Went by the store the other day and found I'd sold one that I've had for over a year, a spalted, I think it's spalted hackberry, but anyway, it's spalted something. Anyway, somebody came in, saw it first thing, bought it, and left. They didn't go through the rest of the store. Made me happy. But anyway, we're going to turn a very simple plate with this, and then once we get to that point, we're going to do something else with it. And Dane and I talked about it this morning. Depending on what kind of time and how many other folks want to share some things that they've done this week, in gallery, we'll judge how far we go with this tonight. I may get it done. Well, I won't get it done, but we're going to get it as far as we can tonight, and you'll understand the concept as we get there. So let me again bring it into a zoom. Come on, I clicked it. I know I did. There we go. We'll start off with a 1/2 inch bowl gouge. I've already got it on center. I've already checked it, but we're going to start at 100 RPMs, very slow. Stand out of the line of fire. Should spin up pretty good. It's pretty well balanced. That's 800. That's far enough. I go to the overhead. You can see what I'm doing a little better, I think. Almost. There we go. I've got to let me stop and kind of walk through what I'm doing. There's the edge of the pith there on the other side. It drops down just a little bit, and there's a tiny crack with that one. And really, that's the only crack there is in the whole thing. But would kind of like to get those piths out. So I think I'm going to make this the bottom, which means this will be the top. So I'm going to turn a tenon on here so that I can flip it around and put a recess in the bottom, and then we'll go on from that. So I need to flatten it out before I do much of anything. I'm going to stop just so I can turn my tool rest so I can get into it a little better. Don't have to reach. I don't mind reaching, but there's a certain amount that it just gets silly. So This is not my original idea. I got this from a fellow across the pond who did it. I don't know. It's been a little while back. Um, there we go. Just making a mark so I don't go too small. I'm gonna leave just a touch extra so that I can clean it up with my skew here in just a second. All right, grab my skew, just a half-inch skew. Use that just to clean up that tenon just a touch and get it down to the perfect size. Well, I say perfect size. It's the size that I calipered it at. So whether it's perfect or not, we'll see here in a minute. Okay, that's going to be the top. So I'm going to leave the rest of that right now. Move my keyboard out of the way. That's instead of filling it up with shavings. All right. And I didn't show you all before. I'm using a regular live center here. It's a cup with a small point, and this is a steb center that mounts directly into the chuck, which is a great tool. If you don't have one, those are great tools. All right. Now we should be able to mount this up. There we go. And I want to do a recess on this bottom side. That can be finished out and I won't have to, it'll save me a step down the road is what it'll do. All right, get things out of the way, including this elbow stabber. I know I'm probably the only one, but if I leave that live center in, I'll hit my elbow on it every single time. If I take it out, I'll never touch the tailstock.
Makes two of us.
Yeah. Let's see, that was for a tenon, so I want to open that up just a couple of twists. Raise that up because I want to make a mark. Oh, that's something else I have meant to point out. It's if you're using these for marking your tenons and recesses, it's okay to do one leg, sharpen it so that it cuts into your wood a little dab easier. I've known a few people who actually they sharpen one side and round the other. There we go. Now I've got a nice mark. Come over here. Yeah, you can see the mark that I just made with those dividers. So I know if I open that up, my jaws should fit right inside of there. Okay. Got to lower that back down. There we are.
Your tailstock camera might be better.
There we go.
That'll work.
I've never seen whatever it did just then. I've never seen that before. There we go. Just cleaning up those lines in there. Again, I'll grab my skew just to clean up the dovetail portion of that. My jaws are straight on the inside, but they are dovetailed on the outside, which I did not realize for a long time, but that's how Nova does their jaws, or the 50 millimeter, not all of them, but I'm just taking the edge off of that recess is all I'm doing, just so I don't cut myself here in a bit. Okay, now this is going to be the bottom, so I can go ahead and shape it. And I want to, fairly simple. I'm going to come out here a little ways with a foot. In fact, if I grab a pencil, I can kind of show you. I'm going to come out about here with a foot. And then from that point on to close to the top, and I need to make myself a mark. Well, if I make this the bottom, I want to bring it up to about there for the top. And as I cut that angle, that's going to cut out that pith area right there. The other one is right on the edge, so it won't be a problem. But this one is a little deeper, and I want to get rid of that so we don't have any problems with checking down the road. Make sense so far?
Definitely.
Clear as mud. Clear as mud, right?
Yeah.
All right. We're at 800. I'm going to leave it there for right now. Back to the typical way that I like to start my turnings. Instead of flat across the edge and flat across the bottom, I start with the corner. I don't see the point of making two cuts when I can make one. Now, if you have a piece that's way out of round, way out of center, it makes a little more sense, I guess. But a piece that was as round as this one was, I'll tell you what, I'm hearing safety sue in the back of my head, but I've got safety glasses on, and I thought that was enough. It's not. I'm getting so many shavings in my face, it's bothering me. So, face shield it is. Get my tool rest up a little closer to where I'm working, and I've got that angled so that it's reflecting pretty close to what I'm wanting it to end up with at the very end. Go ahead and make a mark all the way around, roughly. Yeah, I should be able to see that. Oh yeah. like about one more pass and we'll be there. Just gonna clean up this foot just a touch. Oh yeah. Got just a little bit of a line right there, but that'll sand out. It's pretty minor. And seeing that, I think I want to take some of this foot off. I got change back to the top view and you can see I've got just a little too much foot right here. So I want to take some of that back off. So I'll have to redo my recess just a bit. I guess actually I'm taking a lot of that off. Not just a little. But I have something in mind, so.
Got lots of wood, plenty of room, Doug.
Yeah, I've got loads of wood. Wood is not an issue. Never moved my divider, so it's easy enough to make that mark yet again. The sharp side around. Can't believe I got lucky twice.
Maybe change camera again.
Mm-hmm. Don't like that cut coming back because it's so unsupported, but sometimes that's the best way to do it. It feels pretty good. All right, I'm not going to do a bunch of sanding. I am going to do I like to start with 80 grit to make my surface completely the same from start to finish. Sometimes it takes a good bit of that if I leave a tool mark or so. But most of the time it just takes just a minute just to kind of clean it up. I think one time Eddie used the word homogeneous to make a homogeneous surface across. That's a good term. That's a good term. I do need to get at least this grit done. Now, a lot of times in demonstrations, I can do just give you an idea. But in this particular one, if you don't get the sanding done at this point, there's a whole lot of hand sanding. And that'll make more sense here in a minute. All right, I kind of like the shape here. I'll put it back on the overhead just to show you what we've accomplished. And I don't know why I'm bothering with that recess. It's going to disappear a little later. All right. Back to my top. So you can see we've got the foot, it curves out, and then there's just a little bit of a return back in and then back out again. So just a little bit of an OG shape there. Not real strong, but it's enough to notice, and that it'll pay off in the design. Your design at this point, typically we tend to think, or I tend to think, I can correct it later. But this particular project, it needs to be right pretty well from the start. So there you can see a little more of it. That's a mark in the wood. It's not a tool mark. I've said for a long time now that walnut is the king of American hardwoods. I just love it. You would think I could find it all over the place because the farmers hate it. But they want to cut the trees and sell the trees to timber companies who will then charge an arm and a leg for a piece of wood.
Can you adjust your camera to turn these
Yeah.
out of view?
Bring it back. Yeah. I wanted to show you all the overall shape, but there we go. I just want to round this. I just flattened this out across here just a little bit. It had a couple of flat spots, but then I'm going to round it just on the bottom side. Just want to take the edge off of it. All right. We're going to say we've got that sanded up to 320. You could even go ahead and finish it at this point if you wanted to. Not really necessary because there's more work to be done. Not so much on the bottom side, but on the overall piece. I don't know. There's several schools on how to tighten your chuck. I'd rather go around several times with one hand than to wrench down with two hands. And I don't know, it just seems to work better for me that way. All right, I am going to hit that edge with some sandpaper. Yeah, that's what I thought. Still a flat spot in there. Take care of that real quick. There we go. Okay, that's close enough. As far as this turning goes, it's rounded. The plate itself is round now. Okay. Give it a spin or two, make sure it's not hitting anywhere. I believe we can crank the speed up a little more. That's 1,000 RPMs there. That's probably fast enough.
You want to do your tailstock camera?
So picky.
Great view.
All right. Come back out here to the edge. I don't want it to get real super thin and start wobbling on me. Almost thin enough. Much better. See what we got here. Out of curiosity. Oh, looks like just a hair over a quarter inch is what we got. And that's probably thin enough. If I can follow that all the way down. I'm getting my banjo closer, not the tool rest. Tool rest was already about as close as it can go. I am trying to do the split vision thing where I'm looking down the inside and the outside at the same time, watching my bevel, hoping, trying to keep it parallel to the outside edge. That's fun.
Yeah, it looks great. Good shavings.
And that is some dry walnut. I can guarantee it's dry. All right. We're doing good. Doing good. Just 20 after 8. Okay, we're doing great.
Lots of time.
when I was first starting to turn, um, I did my, I went to a bowl turning class with my dad. He paid for it and took me, and the guy was teaching the, how do you say, it was the wisdom of the day. We'll say it that way. We started in the center and hollowed from the center and worked our way back to the edge. Well, I learned fairly early on. The other thing that was being taught was turn as thin as possible. If you can see daylight through it, you're almost thin enough. Which makes for some really nice work if you can keep it together. But I went through the side of so many pieces of work, some of them sanding. Well, come to find out, part of my issue, excuse me, I got a cough real quick. There we go. One of my issues was it was getting thin on one side and not necessarily the other because I took all the vibration absorption out of the center, and here I have this thin piece. It was thin in the center, and I was working my way back, thinning out the outer edge. It don't work that way, guys. Um, every once in a while you can get away with it, but not very often. I really shouldn't be doing this, but I'm cutting very, very lightly. You can see the angel hair is coming off. There's just a little ridge that I left, one of my transition spots. But as you can see, I'm working my way down, and I'm making room so I can go in thinner and thinner. There's a good view. That's some wispy stuff. That's some wispy stuff. But that's what I'm doing here with these steps. I'm just clearing out the next section so that it remains basically the same thickness all the way down, but one step at a time. Got to go back to my inside out watching it.
Removing the wood and steps like this, what prevents the walls from flexing on you.
Yeah. But yeah, by doing that, it doesn't allow it to flex nearly as much. It will flex out here, but it won't flex down here closer to where the bulk of the wood is.
Right.
Okay, my digital calipers. They work pretty well most of the time if I pay attention. Okay, I've got to start turning into the wood. I can't keep going deeper because that's where a curve on the outside. Clean that up just a touch. There we go. So again, back to the bulk. Now it goes against my better judgment not to go all the way to the center with that right now. Actually, it is good judgment. It is better judgment not to. It goes against my original learning. Of course, my original learning, I would have started here to begin with, cutting that center out. Check it again. Oh my goodness. A little ridge right there, but other than that, the bottom of that is really nice. Yep, ridge is gone. Okay, I want to move all of this just a little bit more. I don't like the feeling that I'm could fall off the tool rest. I've done that before. It doesn't usually have a good ending. Starting to get a little bit of overhang there again. Just turn my tool rest. Don't have to worry about my banjo. But remember, I've got a recess in there. Okay. Famous last words. We're in good shape. Love it when a plan comes together to this point.
Outstanding. Hey, Doug, what kind of lathe are you using? We got a question on it.
Yeah, it's a Nova 1624. It has the electronic variable speed controller on it. I was able to upgrade to that. Um, in fact, I sold 3 or 4 of them for Nova. Um, People would ask and they'd go order it. Last guy wanted one. He came back about a week later and said, they don't make that anymore. So I asked the guy who was the um, social media guy for them, and he said, yeah, they discontinued it. Excuse me. That cold I had a couple weeks ago is the cough is still hanging on, driving me crazy. Anyway, he said, yeah, they discontinued it, but I'm working on making one with the same company. I'm designing it myself. Next thing I knew, they laid him off. That was before all the news came out that Nova was in deep trouble. Understand it should come out as a good thing in the end, but just getting through to the good thing is going to be tough for all of us who have Novas and need stuff. However, if you've got a Nova and you need parts, go to Nova International and they'll take care of you, is what I've been told. So we're not left out in the
That's
dark.
good to know.
Yeah,
good
it
to know.
is. It is. It was a trouble. Dane, you were dead on. It was trouble with the U.S. company, Technitool USA. It was not with Technitool International, the mother company.
Right.
And the mother company, apparently there may have been some mismanagement, is what I'm reading into the story. And so they're saying, okay, if you can pull it out, fine, but we don't think you can. We're going to let you die a horrible death, and then we're going to take over after that. So, yes, they have said, Technitool International has said, come to us, we'll take care of you. But that's going to mean a little bit longer shipping times. Tariffs may affect us a bit. That's it's going to affect everybody, I do believe, almost all of our lathes, unless you're fortunate enough to have an American Beauty or there's not much made here anymore.
No.
You folks in Canada, if you use a one-way. So yeah. Nova 1624 that has been modified. I'm chasing lines here that are probably grain. You can almost see them. There's one there, one there, one there. I think it's grain, but like I said, I'm kind of chasing them, and a little bit of a rough spot right there. Now, so far, this project is nothing really special. Nothing really special. It's a thin plate, bowl, dish, whatever you might want to call it. I want to do one more thing before I call it quits with the sandpaper. We use a different 1/2 inch bowl gouge. I want this edge. It doesn't have to be very much of it, but I want the very edge to be real nice and flat. I'm just going to very lightly scrape it. Go roll that tool over and get a true scrape on it, because I do want it flat. Yeah. And you may or may not be able to hear, there's a little bit of movement there that has taken place. So I'm glad I didn't need to do a whole lot. I meant to leave that flat to begin with. Okay. Let's turn that off and see what we got at this point. Give it a little air. And just because we can, there is a little bit of a line there. So this is one of my favorite things to do with a turning, especially with walnut. Alcohol in a glass spray bottle or a glass cleaner spray bottle. You can begin to see what that walnut's going to look like. It's going to be a little bit pretty. But that'll also raise the grain just a little bit. This is just plain air I'm blowing on it. A little bit of ripple going across right there. All right. Normally I would take it from the 80, I'd go to 120, 240, 320, abrasive paste. We're going to stop at this point for time's sake. We're at half an hour. I'm amazed. This turned really easily. So for right now, it's just For all intents and purposes, everything but the finish. It's a finished plate. But we're not done. I'm going to take it over here to the bandsaw very quickly. And I want to, first off, get rid of that face mask because it's driving me bananas. But I will put it back on. I'm going to put a piece of tape. Let me, holy cow. Yep. I was trying to find my mouse. It was underneath the shavings. There we go. Move the camera just a touch. I'm glad we can see through it. I realized just before we went on, that particular camera is covered with droplets of CA glue. So, all right. I want to, where's my tape? There it is. Trying to find roughly a center line here. I can find my first mark. There it is. Right on the grain line. It's no wonder. Getting to the point, guys. Bend over and it makes funny noises come out of my mouth. All right.
That happens as you get older, Doug.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Getting to that point. Actually, I've been at that point for quite a while. I should have a rich uncle sending me a check every month, and I just I don't know why I haven't done that. I gotta call him up and have him do that. Okay, this right here. In fact, I'm going to mark that so I don't get confused. Yeah, right. That's a pin. I'm gonna make a little arrow so I don't get confused. I want to cut. I'm gonna take this over to the bandsaw real quick. I'm gonna cut back. I'm gonna cut this in half. So be right back. Oh, as they say, you can talk among yourselves if you want to. You can ask a question if you want to. I'm not sure I can hear you, but
Sounds good.
won't take me just half a second. And get it.
He has my attention.
The suspense is killing us. What he's going to cut and do now.
I think I have it pretty much figured out.
Well, that makes two of us.
He's going to glue something in between the two halves.
Yeah, we talked about it this morning.
Okay. Muted myself so y'all didn't have to hear that screeching. All right. Now, the next step of this takes a little bit of time, but I'm going to get it so that you understand what's going on. It almost seems a shame to have cut that in half, but I did.
That's what Brenda said.
Yeah. Okay, it's pretty close. So we're going to start off. I'm going to take it. I'm going to turn it up this way and glue those edges together. And I'm off just a touch. You can see there how much I am. Maybe half an inch or so. But I'm going to glue this together. In fact, well, yeah, let me grab my, we've already heard it mentioned once today. Oh no, where is it? My Parfix. It's here. I know it's here.
It's under the
What
shavings.
happens? Oh, there it is. I put it in the wrong place. I knew I did, but I couldn't remember where. It's on the shelf below where it's supposed to go. All right. No, it wasn't in the shavings. Thank goodness. All right. I'm going to put some Parfix on the two ends there and a little bit right in the center. Then we're going to stick these two bad boys together. about like that. They can be sanded, so that's pretty doggone close. So you can see what we've got basically is a half moon. One of the reasons I wanted the recess, that gives me this little area right here. I'm gonna, once this is dry and I'm happy with it, I'm going to come back to, or take that back to the bandsaw, and I will. Let's go back up here. That camera got moved. I don't know how that got moved. Okay, what we're going to do, I'm going to take it to the bandsaw after a while. I'm going to cut this out, this little half moon. I've still got this foot on here, but I'm going to cut this half moon that was my recess out. And you can see it was not very thick right there. That measured out to, is it an eighth or maybe a little less than an eighth? Yeah, right at an eighth, I guess. So, I didn't get enough glue on there. Anyway, we'll cut the recess out, and I'll make the two even. So that's going to give me this half moon shape with this hole out of the center here. And then once it's good and secure, I'll actually glue it with wood glue. But I'll drill a hole up through here. I've got a piece of, I think that's 5/16 dowel, that I will drill a hole right about there, maybe a little less like that. And I'll eyeball it good and straight. And so this will be mounted on another piece of wood, whether it's another piece of walnut. I'm looking at a piece of walnut that's a very interesting piece. Maybe a piece of oak. Oak and walnut look great together. So we'll have this half moon shape like so. These edges will be sanded or cut so they meet up real nice and flat. In fact, yeah, I'll have to do a little work on getting the little half moon cut out evenly. And then it's mounted on it'll be a single leg like this. The idea then will be to turn a box with a groove on both ends of the box that'll fit down into this. It can be a ring box. It could be just some kind of little surprise box. It can be about anything. Some of you may have seen this being done. Brian Oosby did something very similar to this. Here's the other trick. I've got this neat little foot, which creates a little framework almost, because this is, of course, is going to be out of it right through here. But all along this outer edge, I can go through there with a Dremel tool and just do some random piercing through that, just because it just brings up the interest. Then once that's all sanded to roughly 320, you put some oil on it, let that dry for 2 or 3 days, put some polyurethane or some lacquer, shellac, give it just a little pop. That will end up being a very beautiful piece that can sit on a desk. It can sit on a table, a coffee table, or a dining room table. It could be just about anywhere that you feel comfortable with. So, any questions on that?
Folks, anyone have any questions? Now's your time to ask and solicit.
Surely I didn't. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was talking about, you're talking about inserting a box in the center, Doug.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, how does that attach?
It will just.
I mean, you're looking at the spread of what, 2 inches, 2.5 inches?
It's a little more than that. I just stuck some more glue on there. Hold on, I'll tell you exactly. Right now, it's 3 inches. 3 inches exactly.
3 inches. So you would make
there.
a box 3 inches.
Probably 4 inches.
Catch on the corner.
Yeah, I'll probably go 4 inches so that it has enough width so that it has The outside would sit.
Okay.
The outside would sit out
Okay.
here.
Right. Right.
That
That
makes
would be
sense now.
cool. What? That's next week, right, Doug? Or no? That could be that could be one of your that could be Tuesday night.
Possibly it may be something. I just took a part-time job, and so as of right now,
Premiere.
well, when you do part-time, you're kind of at the beck and call of your employer, and so um, I've Dane and I talked about this morning. I got off work tonight at 6:30, so I booked it here. I logged on at like 5 after, I think it was 7. So I barely got here, but I knew I'd be here in plenty of time. I knew I had enough time to get here and get myself together. I already had the piece of wood picked out, set aside. So now I've put glue all the way around the edge. I'll give it just a hold for a few seconds, and it will be together instead of using the wood glue.
So it would probably be better to make the box first and then glue the whole thing together.
Well, the box will be loose. The whole idea is for
right,
that.
that's what I'm saying. Right. You don't glue it together yet.
Well, this is glued, but the box does not get glued to this. It just sits, it'll sit where I'm going to cut this out, and it'll be on an angle. The box will just sit in there.
All right.
Like a rocker.
That makes sense now?
Yeah,
Think
you
of
can
it
make
like-
it
like
any
an axle.
angle you can make an angle any angle that you want.
Right. Yeah, I can do it like I could put it up, straight up and down like
Like
that.
that, right,
But
right,
I think it holds more interest if you put it on a bit of an angle.
right.
Like I said,
Right.
my stick, my dowel will go right in like that.
Nice
That
idea.
that 5/16 dowel is cheap dowel from somewhere. I can't even remember where I got it, whether it's a lumber store or Walmart or Michael's. But I'll either make it black or um, a muted color, probably, so that it doesn't detract from the beauty of this walnut. Now, I've gotten that CA on there. I'm going to have to do a good bit of hand sanding to get that off of there, but that's okay. That's okay. It's worth it for that. And no, it's not either. Start saying it's now together, but it's not, which is good because I didn't have it straight to anyway. That's better. That's better. All right.
Painter's
Now I need
tape clamp.
Yeah, some activator would help.
Yeah, that also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was half afraid to get the activator right away because my fingers were in it, but now I think I'm okay now.
So, Doug,
yes, sir.
the last thing you did before you took that thing off the lathe was
Uh-huh.
you flattened that rim just a little bit.
Right. That was just to give me a glue joint.
Right now that I see it forming the taco, if you will.
Yeah.
Do you wish that would have been just a little wider to give you a little more grip, or are you happy there?
I'm happy with it. Yeah, it's about 1/8 of an inch. It's enough. Wood glue, same as CA. CA will soak into your wood, especially the thinner it is. Your wood glue, before it starts to dry, will actually penetrate the surface of your wood, and that's why wood glue gives you such a good permanent joint. It just takes a while for it to dry and fully cure, where the CA is quite a bit more instant, and that's why
that
I wanted
CA
to go ahead and do that.
That CA can be a little more brittle on a joint like that. So.
Absolutely, it can.
Yeah.
There's no question. But like I said, normally what I would do, that would be wood glued and clamped somehow, whether it's rubber bands, painter's tape, whatever. Electrical tape works great because it's got some stretch to it. Do that, clamp it together, let it sit overnight, and you'll break the wood before you'll break the glue joint. Where with CA, you can break the glue joint.
That's a pretty piece of wood. It's starting to right there. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's a pretty piece.
Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. When you don't put things away and you look in the right place, there you go. That's just sprayed with some alcohol just so you can see.
Yeah.
I don't know that I
That's
want quite that much shine on it, but that gives you an idea what that
so
piece of wood's
so
going to look
so
like.
what wood do you think would be to make the box out of? Something more
Something to
abstract or
contrast it. Maple would look good. Oak would look good. I really like the idea of maple.
right? I
It
think so too.
doesn't have
Right.
the gritty grain, but it has
The
some
same
grain.
grain that you're looking at with that walnut.
Right, right. Yeah, maple looks good with walnut. Maple or oak or something spalted. Um, I don't have a nice piece of spalted hackberry, but that would look really good. You could do it out of junk wood and paint it if you wanted to. Just color it.
Yeah.
That would look really good.
Yeah.
Um,
Make a black piece.
yeah, you could just do straight up black. Make make the box shiny. Make this kind of a satin at best shine. Um, that might look really good. Or make this shiny. Make the box flat. Um, yeah, you can. There's lots of options. You just have to pick your poison and go with it. But the idea, don't be afraid to cut a turn piece. This plate could have been flatter. What I say, 3 inches across. Um, yeah, right at 3 inches. You could make it flatter. It doesn't have to be as curved as this one is. That almost looks like half of a hemisphere, doesn't it?
Almost looks like
Flying
a
saucer.
flying saucer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But the back end, they didn't get that half completed yet. It's from Star Wars.
And then that looks like now it looks like a boat, so if the plate was smaller in diameter, you
Yeah,
could, make your mast and
absolutely, you could.
have all
Yeah,
kinds of fun with that.
Doug, did you see this as a finished piece someplace?
I saw it much like you guys just saw it, except it was done over 2 weeks. It did get finished, but it was over 2 weeks of demonstration. Actually, 3 weeks of demonstration, I believe it was. But it works out really nice. Like I said, little sanding on a disc sander to get this flat across here. Cutting this out. I said with the bandsaw, I'll probably grab a coping saw, just a little safer, to cut both of those out. The box won't take half an hour to turn. Probably do a 4-inch box, a groove in 3 inch, 3 inches apart, a groove on each end, um, so that it will sit in this little portion here after I cut it out. Are we making sense there, guys?
Yeah,
I don't want.
that makes sense.
Okay.
How about
I don't want.
before you cut the plate in half,
Uh-huh.
drill it out, drill it out while it's on the lathe.
You can. Absolutely, you can.
Yeah.
Or even turn it out because it was in recess.
Or turn it, yeah, one or the other. Yeah.
I could have turned 90% of that, opened it up so that filing and sanding,
Right.
I could have finished it up without any trouble. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Or, put it on the back of the flat jam
It's
chuck.
called
Drill it out.
it's called what you should have done was funneled it.
Well, yeah.
You should have funneled it on
You
purpose.
very easily. In fact, what I could have done is made a recess, but put a tenon out here, out in this foot, that I could grab out here and cut that recess out while it was on the lathe. Very easily done. Very easily done. I had demonstration-itis, wanting to get it done in an hour-ish time frame. That's just kind of where my brain goes when I start thinking about demo. I like to do an hour-ish. Sometimes it's a hair over, sometimes it's a little shorter. But we're just over. Well, we're right at the hour now, I guess. But I don't know how quick I'll get this done. I've also got 2 other projects I'm in the middle of. Those are paying projects, but I will get this done and share it with you guys when I get it done. In fact, I'll send the picture into JJ as well as that oak piece, especially since that's his wood that I used.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, that oak, that's where you can see the grain a little better. That's some pretty nice wood. I can put that down. There it is. There's a knot right there that's just fabulous. Lots of character. Um, Lovely piece of wood. Lovely piece of wood. So that'll be going up for sale here in another week or so after it's completed. And then I'll be donating that money from that sale when it does sell. It may not be for a while, but when it does sell, that money will be going back to some hurricane relief.
Nice.
All right. All right.
Nice
All right. Well,
job,
thank you very
Doug.
much, Doug.
Hey, you're welcome. If there's any other questions, I'll be glad to. I'll tell you everything I know. It ain't much, but I'll tell
Right.
you everything I know.
Thanks, Doug.
What you don't know, you can make it up.
I can tell you a good story anyway.
Right.
I just know
Thank you very much.
just turning the plate would have taken me over 2 hours.
I understand that, Dale. And not just you. A lot of folks would say things like that. Just a few years ago, it would have taken me 2 or 3 hours as well. It's practice at the lathe, spending time on your feet, making shavings.
Well,
That's
what I hope everybody got tonight was you kept the center force, that it did not it did not make the outside a problem.
right,
So
right.
I'm hoping that that's what everybody got out of this tonight, because
Yeah.
that's what you did. And
Yeah, with turning
that
thin,
was
you've got to thin it from the outside edge and work your way down section by
right.
section. It's very much like turning a goblet. You work on that goblet stem. The thinner you want it, the more you got to work. Short section at a time. You turn it, sand it,
Right.
turn it, sand it, turn it, sand
Right.
it, until you get done. You can't turn 16th inch stem top to bottom all in one shot. You just can't do it. It's the same way with a
Right.
bowl. That could have turned this. I could have turned that half again. I could take half of that out again using the same method that I did with this.
Doug, it was a very enjoyable night. Thanks.
Oh, you're so welcome. So welcome. I always enjoy it. Always enjoy helping you guys and sharing with you guys. Not helping, sharing with you guys. Just some of what I get to do. Anytime I get to come in the shop.
Right. Yeah, it's fun stuff. Fun
It
stuff.
is.
And hopefully it incites others to get out in the shop and try something different. Don't make a
Absolutely.
pretty plate, cut it in half. Right, Brenda?
Oh yeah. That
Just-
freaked me out.
Start by just making a pretty plate.
Cut it in half and have a heart attack. Cut it in half and have a heart attack.
I'd have a
Well,
hard time cutting it in half.
You had my attention.
There are those guys who are out there who suggest that about once a month or maybe every other month, turn the best piece you can turn, take it to the bandsaw and slice it in half. And the reason is they want you to examine your thicknesses from edge to edge. This one I'm pretty happy with. You can see there I'm pretty even from end to end.
Yeah.
And part of that was because, where am I? I did do it this way, and maybe I can, there we go. I did that much, and then went to the next section, and I felt it, and I knew that I was pretty close. I could look down the inside and the outside edge at the same time, but then I used my hands, my fingers, felt it to see, am I close? And I knew I was. So when I cut it, I'm not real surprised. Of course, I got thick places there, but that's the foot on top of it. Even at my recess, I had a pretty good
your
idea of where it was.
recess is the same thickness as the rest of your plate.
It's pretty close, yeah, pretty close. But that comes from just like anything else. It comes with standing at the lathe, cutting wood.
Right.
blowing some up. I can't tell y'all how many bowls I've blown up. Some of you have seen me blow some up on live YouTube. It's part of the game. Part of the game.
Right. Yeah, you never get better by not doing.
Yes, yes. And I honestly believe the more you blow up, the better you get. But you got to try. You got to try to cut them thin.
Right.
I said that was 1/8 of an inch. I'm serious. I have, and it's not beyond me to say, I like that. I'd like that to be really thin, and cut it at least almost half of it out, which would take it down to about a 1/16. That's thin. That's thin.
Yes.
Not going to get a lot
All
of
right.
light transmission out of walnut, but you do some of your lighter woods, 1/16, you're starting to get some nice light transmission go through the wood.
Good
All right.
stuff. Great info. All right, let's swing back to Captain Eddie and see what he thought about this insightful demo we had. Captain, we got you.
It was
Don't let Rita see you.
Yeah. Last week, Scott did a demo on making carbide tools. I think he's got them completed. So let's go see what Scott's got here.
All right. So here's the one I did in the demo last week, or started. And I put a beading cutter on the end. You can see it's all done. Made on the rounded out on the end so it goes in the handle.
Nice.
Goes in the handle.
Nice, Scott.
And then this one's just about done. You just got to taper the nose, but the rest of it's done. And I got to taper the end to get it in the shaft, but in the handle, but it's getting there.
That was a very interesting demo
You
there.
did great.
Yeah,
Did a great job.
It was, Scott. Really was.
What kind of collet you using? What kind of collet you got on there?
On here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Good
one
call.
of Martin Clarkston's. One of his first ones. Looks like this. So it's a true ferrule style. It's got a indentation where the wood goes up into the ferrule. This tube goes in the handle. This one's one particular size. His new ones are a little different here. I can show you what his new ones are. So everything's the same except instead of having one handle for each size tool, he can get it out of here. He made inserts to go in there now. So that's the biggest size. That's 5/8. And you put this insert in here, and it's got a locking spot so that you don't have to worry about it falling out. You just line it up with the set screw. Click it in just far enough that the set screw grabs it. Goes in that hole. Come on. Now it's locked in there, can't fall out. So yet you can still get your different size tools in there and then lock it down the rest of the way. And it comes in
Very cool.
Comes in a smaller 10 mil size too, or 3/8.
Wow.
But that's Martin Clarkston's new handle design, and it's super strong because the wood goes up in here, it goes up almost to that set screw. You're actually making it basically a mortise and tenon style joint. So you drill your hole in your blank, You turn the outside down so that it fits over this, fits in that recess. And then you just pound it on. There's no adhesive on these. They're friction fit. So when the handle expands and contracts, it can't come off. So if it contracts, it cracks, squeezes on the inner tube. If it expands on the outer ring. So it's a true ferrule, which nobody else is making anything like that. So hopefully he'll start marketing them soon here in the US. I just happen to have ordered a couple prototypes. I know there's a couple other of us that have them. And I don't know if anybody else has put one on a tool yet, on a handle yet or not. I know there's one person in the club here that has one because I sent it to him. So, but they're nice. I like them. They're strong. You don't have to worry about the tool breaking. But that's how things evolve, you know. Started out with just a simple hole. And then he decided, well, why have a handle for each different size tool? Let's have one handle with just some inserts that lock in place so that you don't have to worry about them falling out either. So, I mean, that's how things evolve over time. That's all I got, Dane.
All right. Very good. Thank you. All right. Matt, do we have anybody pop in for gallery, or we still being
not that I've seen, Dane. We're fresh out
Yeah.
of gallery.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see him.
Hey,
Howard King,
Ruby
are
had
you on?
something. Ruby said she had something that looked like what Doug was turning up in the chat earlier.
Ruby, did you have something?
I do, with a couple pieces that were done very similar to Doug's. This one was basically a bowl that was cut, turned in half, and then you can see how the top was layered on. And when I made the top, I drilled a hole in it and made a collar for it so that I had a plug for it. And then just took a scrap piece of wood to make the base from, and I left it so it can spin in whichever way you want it. And then another piece that was very similar done, only a little more challenging, was I made two bowls identical, and I shaped the outer edge of the bowls so that they would match up. You can see the shape that I turned each of them.
Wow.
And at the end, they were turned between centers so that the bottom goes like this. So you can do a lot of variations with what Doug showed you.
Giving me ideas of what to do with my funnels.
Right.
Cut them in half and glue them back together.
Yeah.
Indeed. Indeed. So earlier there was a chat going on amongst several of the members about using local resources to find a second-hand lathe. Who would like to cue off, the various resources available? I think Dale's looking for a way to find a new lathe.
Problem is, I don't have the money for even a second-hand one right now. But my problem is there aren't any resources that I know of close to me because the nearest clubs are either an hour and a half to 2.5 hours away.
Marketplace?
There's a whole bunch of them on Marketplace, and I just put a bid in on one a week or so ago that's on Marketplace. And you can do it by region, so you can go out to, however far you feel comfortable driving to get one.
What kind do you have now, Dale?
I've just got a 10 by 18 turn crafter manual speed that I've had for what, 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
Well, I turned yesterday on a Harbor Freight Bauer, their new one, and boy, that's a nice lathe. It's probably nicer than my Jet, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, and that's a 14-inch, isn't it?
14-inch, yep.
Yeah.
It's a nice machine.
If to tell you the truth, if I had the money for it, I'd consider ordering one. But right now, I don't even have the money for that.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good feedback on it.
Yeah, and you don't have to order them. They have them right in your local Harbor Freight if you got one close to you.
I've got one close to me. Yeah.
They stock them right in the store, along with the stand. And if you watch, every now and then they put them on sale, and they also have 20 and 30% coupons. And I know that there's summer sales coming up. They're going to blow them out for summer, I bet.
Yeah, Memorial Day sale. Probably be 35% off.
And if you join their club, you can get more off.
Yes.
For a big purchase, it's worth doing that.
Yep.
Yeah, the membership on a big purchase, a one-time purchase like that, you've paid for the membership and then some.
Yeah, and I might have to buy the stand for it because the stand I built for my turn crafter isn't long enough.
Well, the stand is nice too.
I've got two of those stands. They are rock solid. Best purchase I've made for a leg in a long time.
How much were the stands, Tim?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I want to say it was like 1.25 or something. I'll look it up real quick and I'll post it.
I think they're somewhere between 99 and 100 and quarter.
Because I know that Bauer lathe is about what I paid for my turn crafter, but my turn crafter also came with a whole bunch of pen kits and stuff too at the time.
So Dale, what's wrong
membership? With the membership, I got 2 of those Harbor Freight stands at $89 a piece. That's what all the Jet lathes are on here at the shop.
What's wrong with your turn crafter?
Oh, I'm just tired of having to change the belts every time I want to change speeds. I can't slow it down enough for some things.
They make a conversion kit to convert that to a variable speed. You know that, right?
Yeah, but I don't have the knowledge to be able to do it myself.
It's easy. It's plug and play. And the motor, you unbolt your motor and bolt the new one on. They give you all the parts and instructions, and you don't have to do anything else. It's all plug and play.
And there's a couple the handle that you turn to tighten your tail rest tight. That was a plastic piece and that busted quite a while ago, so I have to use a wrench to tighten that. Yeah, I could spend the money to buy a new part, but it's still just going to be a plastic piece that's going to eventually break again.
I'll be right back.
And the tailstock thing that you take it in and out had the piece on it that you used, and the screw on it broke a long time ago. So to really tighten it anymore, I use a wrench to tighten it good. There's just a lot of little things after 15, 16 years that it's wearing out. And it seems anymore it wears out belts about once a year. And I'd like to be able to turn something that's more than 9.5 inches in diameter.
Right. Yep. Understand that.
And and even then, to turn something that's 9.5 inches in diameter, I have to get the banjo in just the right position, because if I don't, it's gotta be 8.5 inches or less.
Right.
That's why when most of the things I show are small, because the lay's not really built for turning, even the 9.5 inch pieces.
Right.
It was more of a pen turning, spindle turning lathe than a bowl turning.
Right.
But when you're poor, you make do with what you got. When I was working,
Yeah, that we do.
When I was working, I could have spent the money to upgrade, but I didn't at the time. And now, living on just Social Security, there ain't nothing. Because I'm lucky, before my next Social Security check, to have $100 left.
Dale, are you doing any arts and crafts shows or anything like that where you can make a little extra money?
I haven't recently. I do a few in the fall that are indoor because I don't have a tent. So I can't really do any outdoors. And the indoor ones, I don't really make a lot. I haven't had a lot of luck making much money. People just don't seem to be all that interested in wood turned items in my area.
Yeah.
At least not the craft fairs I've been to. I got a feeling I'd have to go to the juried shows, and the few juried shows that are around here are so expensive to get into. There's a big juried show up in Hammondsport in August, which is an outdoor show, and I think it's at minimum $300 to get into.
Ouch.
Yeah. So, and the most I've ever made at a show was $250 net, or gross, I mean.
Yeah, I guess I'm lucky. I can do our local arts and crafts show, do a demo, and have two 10-foot booths, one for the demo and one for the stuff we're selling for $75. So
yeah, well, the big one that I do, well, I missed out last year because I didn't sign up soon enough, but the one I do at the domes at Elmira College, I think it's $75 for the space I get. But I've only ever grossed at most $200 even at that one.
yeah, I understand it's tough.
And I'll have pens there, and I'll have my bowls and my Santa Clauses and Christmas trees and stuff, because this one's a December show, and I might sell one pen because the people look at the pens and they, and I don't have them outlandishly priced. My slim lines I have at $20, and then I go up a little bit from there, and my most expensive pen is 85, I think 85 or $90. And that's because it's was a laser done, that not that I did, but I bought the blank and it was laser cut military pen. So I doubled the doubled what it cost me for the blank and the kit. Right? And I only doubled it to keep the price halfway decent for around here, and yet people look at it and croak at what I'm asking for it.
So Dale, why don't you try making some jewelry pendants for the ladies?
Well, I never really. I watched Carl a couple of times, but haven't really. I need to try to practice making stuff off centered and that kind of stuff, but I haven't done that.
You got the ducks, Chuck.
I'll show you one, and then I'll show you one that's in process that you can make real simple with the ducks, Chuck. They're simple pendants. They're made of my scrap wood. I'll highlight myself so you can see it.
You're highlighted now, Scott.
Okay. Well, I'm still looking at you. There we go. So here's one I make. It has a little bead in the middle. That's made on a duck's chuck. Here's a real simple one that's made out of a scrap piece of cherry. A thin cherry board. Here's one made out of a round of plastic. So I buy bottle stopper blanks and slice them off. So you can get a lot of pen blank or a lot of jewelry blanks out of a bottle stopper when you're only cutting them off at about a 1/4 inch thick.
Well, I don't have to buy the bottle stopper blanks. I can make my own.
Yep, you can make your own. I also use handle blanks that you're making handles, plastic handles out of, 1.5 by 1.5 handle blanks. Here's one on a duck's chuck that I got started. And it's simple to do. You can offset the holes in them. I think I even did a demo a year or so ago, maybe a little more, showing how to make jewelry pendants with the duck's chuck.
Yes,
you have
you
that
did.
thing. Do you have that thing double-sided taped on there? Is that what you did?
Sure do. So here's one that I don't have taped up, but I just take this is Gorilla double-sided tape. It's probably the best double-sided tape I've found so far. You can actually get the blue coating off. So I just stick it on the mandrel, and then I stick my piece on top of that.
Okay.
And I usually finish the back first. I usually sand the back smooth first so that I don't have to do it after I've designed the piece. And that's about all the thicker I cut them. This is a cutoff from the light bulb that I did for Christmas. This will turn into a jewelry pendant.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't waste any of these little cutoffs. And I sell these for, well, the plastic ones I sell for 25, and the wooden ones I sell for 20, and I can't have enough. I'll sell a couple $100 worth in a 2-hour afternoon at a flea market.
Okay.
And they're easy. You can either make your own chains. I make my own because they're easy to make. Or you can just buy the cord and make, and it's already pre-made if you want. That just takes into your profit a little bit, that's all. And these are called pinch bales. So I'll show you how this one works because I can get this one apart. So you just drill a little hole in there. I don't know if you can see that. There you go.
Yeah, I can see the hole.
And this is called a pinch bale. It's got 2 little spikes on it. And you just take and drill your little bitty hole in there, a 1/16 inch hole. You line those spikes up with your hole.
Yeah, Michaels carries the pinch bales.
You can't get them
Okay,
there
that was my next question.
You got to order them off of Amazon. You can't get them at Michaels anymore. At least in the States, you can't. because that's where I used to get them, and I can't get them there anymore. But you can get that little ball, that little bead at Michael's. So what I do with those is I drill a tapered hole. I start out with a smaller drill bit, and then I drill it again with the just big enough to get that bead in there, and I force that bead in there, and then I just put a dab of super glue on the backside just to hold it in there.
I think what I'd do is I'd turn my own little bead out of my.
You can do that too. And this one I actually used the Easy Wood bead cutter on it to make the beads. It was simple. So, and then those pinch bales come in different colors. You can get them in a antique bronze. You can get them in copper. You can get them in all kinds of different colors. And sometimes it's nice to have different colors because the ladies, there ain't two of them that like the same thing.
I threw a link into the chat for 100 pieces of that. It looks like the one that you were just using.
Yep.
100 pieces of it for less than $10.
Yeah.
And it comes in 3 colors: a brass, a antique copper, and that silver.
Yep.
Yeah. Really good stuff.
And that's what I do, Dale. That's where I make my easy money, you know.
Okay. Yeah, next thing I gotta do is I gotta invest in a new bandsaw blade. And I used to be, until Sears went out of business, I used to just be able to run over to Sears and get my bandsaw blade. Now I gotta order it.
So I don't cut these on the bandsaw. I cut these with my chop saw.
Yeah, I could do that.
So when I cut them with the chop saw to keep my fingers out of the way, I take the double stick tape and I stick a square block on the back. So that I can, because these are too short. I don't like getting my fingers that close.
Neither would I.
So I just use a square block. Then I also don't have to worry about it rotating. The other thing I've seen people do is they'll make a cradle for it and then cut them off in a cradle. It's all in how you feel comfortable. You got to, it's your shop. You got to feel comfortable with what you're doing, right?
Yeah, well, mine would be square to begin with anyway, because it's coming out of my molds. My molds are square.
Right. Yep. But I mean, I make up a whole bunch of these. I got a whole bunch of these that are already made up. So when I get done turning one, I just take my ducks, pull one out of my chuck, and go on to the next thing. So you can wood burn on them. You can do anything you want to decorate them,
Yep. Thanks for the idea.
Just an idea for you.
Okay, thanks.
And when I get earrings perfected, I'll show you those, because I'm going to start making earrings too.
Alrighty. Yeah, and since we're so far away, we ain't no way we're ever going to be in competition.
Oh, heck no. I got guys around here that are making them too, but we all use different things. And yep, they may buy one from me and they go to the next guy and buy one from him too,
Yep.
Hey, Dale, where are you in New York?
Just outside of Elmira, just north of the Pennsylvania border.
Oh,
I'm between
okay.
Elmira and Watkins Glen.
Gotcha. Yeah. Down there, they're
about
very
30 minutes southwest of Ithaca, where Cornell University is.
Yeah. Yeah, if the college girls went out there, they'd go crazy for the jewelry.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And the thing is, I don't know any other turners in my area. And the nearest club by driving time is Rochester, because it's all highway from here to Rochester. Where Syracuse, more than half the drive is 2-lane road. I got to go through Ithaca and Cortland first to even get to 4-lane highway.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the time I get to the 4-lane highway, I've got maybe 45 minutes to Syracuse, depending on where I'm going in Syracuse.
Yep. Yeah.
Because my wife and I go to the state fair every year, and that's a long day because I'm spending 2.5 hours getting up there, 2.5 hours coming back.
Dale, do you have farmers markets by you?
There's one in Corning, and I think there's one in Elmira. My biggest problem again is the fact I don't have a tent.
Yeah, but
Do you need a tent?
if you need a tent for one day, you go
If
out.
If I don't want to burn to death.
Well, right, but I mean, I know a lot of people that go to usually a farmer's market's only a few hours, and they don't go every week. They just go when the weather's good, or when it's going to look nice.
Yeah, and I think I'd rather probably drive the 25 minutes to Corning than I would the one in downtown Elmira, to be honest with you.
And that's a good place to sell small priced items like that, is at a farmer's market. I know a lot of guys that do that.
Mm-hmm. Because for one thing, Cornering's safer. Anymore, they call Elmira Hellmira, like they used to call the Civil War prison Hellmira. Well, they call the city of Elmira Hellmira anymore.
Ouch.
If there's not a shooting or a stabbing in Elmira on a day anymore, it's a good day.
The other thing too, Dale, is make up yourself some business cards so that when you're at those farmers markets, somebody buys something,
I've
throw
already
a business
got
card
business
at them.
cards. Yeah, I've got the business cards already. I paid. I bought them a couple years ago and still got some left. I always have them out on my table whenever I go to craft fair.
When I do the craft fairs, I throw them right in the bag with the product. You'll be surprised how many phone calls you get.
What about flea markets?
Flea markets are good too.
Dale, do you got flea markets?
Not that I know of. And the couple of flea markets I've ever tried to go to, it's mainly people selling junk they're trying to get rid of.
Yeah, flea markets up in Western New York are not popular. And it's normally antiques or junk that people are selling.
You might as well be going to garage sale, because that's basically what a flea market is a whole bunch of people getting together as a garage sale to get rid of stuff.
Well, your flea markets are way different than ours.
Right? Yeah, likewise. What kind of traffic do you have, where you live? Do you have a lot of automobile traffic?
On our corner, yeah. But they're flying by.
You ever think about putting some signage up and a couple tables out in your driveway with your wares, and try to get people coming in off the street?
Wouldn't do me any good because they just fly right by.
So another thing you can do too, if you're making small like pens and pendants, advertise them on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. You'd be surprised how many people shop on those things.
You might have a consignment store in your area also, or somebody that's willing to set up a little gallery. Like our local diners got a little display case where they sell things for local artists and that type of stuff.
Well, there's this Corning that I've at least once a year I email them trying to get in there, and they always say they're full.
So sometimes an in-person visit is better than an email.
And
yeah,
and there was a store up in Watkins Glen, and when I contacted them, unfortunately, the people that were running the store were renting it, and the people that actually owned the building decided to have the store closed because they wanted it back for their art studio.
Yep. So I got pens. I got some pens in a card making store that they make greeting cards and scrapbook stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a lot of pens there. You'd be surprised how crazy that is. You know, they're making cards for gifts or birthdays or anniversaries, and sometimes they're looking for a simple gift. You know, I just approached the lady one day and said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this on a consignment basis?" And she sold a lot of my pens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes you just got to approach the oddball places. You know, like Matt says, diners and all kinds of different places. Sometimes they'll have little trinket shops. You know.
Okay, well, thanks for the ideas. I got to run real quick. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. I should talk to somebody else. Okay. My old man's bladder's kicked in.
Tim, it's just Gorilla Tape.
No worries. Let's go to Howard King. Hey, Howard.
Did it fall out?
Roll Tide.
Oh, did you say me?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You're it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Can I run my mouth for a few seconds? And I don't mean to insult anybody, and I don't hope nobody takes this the wrong way. But I've been on this Zoom meeting for about 3 years, and I got to say that all the gallery pieces that people are showing are I mean, they are so great. I mean, every one of them probably could go to any woodturning symposium and be on the tables there. And but anyway, I just think everything on here has just gotten so much better. Just fantastic pieces people are showing, and I think all the demo stuff is really helping people understand better wood turning techniques and stuff. And Doug did a great little demo tonight. So anyway, I hope people don't take that in the wrong spirit, but I just think everything
Not at all.
that's being shown is just top notch right now. So anyway,
No, I agree with you, Howard. I get a lot of inspiration from what people do, and I'd like to see it. So yeah.
Well, I got a little piece here. This part came from I had a cherry burl that I cored out and turned several bows, and this was the smallest last piece. And so I put a tenon on it. And the stem here is a privet. We got a bunch of privet here in Alabama. I don't know about anywhere else, but we got it. And the base here is holly. And of course, I dyed it black with a black shoe dye, and sprayed everything with a clear enamel. And so had a hole here, and when you cut open the burl, you never know exactly what shape it is. If you have voids and things, had a void on this last part. So I just had some brass powder and filled it in and sanded it out. So anyway, that's
beautiful, Howard.
Beautiful, Howard.
Fantastic.
So
fantastic.
That's a very nice piece, Howard.
Yes, really nice. I don't even know what privet is.
Yeah, I don't either.
Well,
Never heard of it.
You can have some hours if you like. It's just it's wild. It's invasive.
It's a hedge in a lot
type of hedge, but it's very invasive, and it has little berries, and birds will spread them all over the creation. So, and they sprout up any and everywhere.
It's kind of like Yupon down here in Texas.
Like what?
Yupon.
Yupon what? Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That was good.
Only
That was good.
Detroit. Right? Yupon in Detroit.
Yeah. Okay.
So how big does your privet get, Howard? How big around
they get pretty big. This stem, it was about like that.
Oh, okay.
I guess about 3.5, 4 inches. And I whittle it down to just almost nothing there, see. So anyway.
I
But that's only
I actually have a picture of a stump that was 13 and a quarter inches in diameter.
Wow.
yeah, they
But
get huge.
it was more brown than it was white.
Oh, was it? I know Jack had,
Alabama ivory, guys.
yeah, I know Jack had cut one about that size down
Yep.
below his house. So anyway, that's all I got. And I hope I didn't offend anybody on what I said, but
No, not at all.
Not at
No,
all.
not at
We're
all.
complimenting
That's
everything.
No, there was
those are
nothing
great
offensive
words of
about that, Howard.
encouragement. Those are words of
okay.
encouragement. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Gary, you got anything to show?
I've got things on the lay, but I didn't get anything finished. I was planning on having one finished tonight, but I had one of my best friends had a heart attack yesterday, and I had to get up at 3 o'clock this morning and go to Birmingham, hour and a half away, for arteriogram. They had to do stents in him today. We've been telling him he's going to kill himself if he didn't take better care. So I just got back about 10 minutes before I got online. So I'll have two things next week, guaranteed.
All right, we're gonna put you on the list now. Let's go to Roger. I think he's got something to show.
Well, I'm starting working on my demo. So this is part of the open segmented piece.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
Cool.
That looks great.
3 more rows to go on it. And the problem I have is I was recording, and the last half hour of my recording didn't record. So me building this didn't get shown. But like I say, I still got the other 3 rings, so I can do a demo putting that portion together. And here's the bottom half. So it'll be.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, that's going to be beautiful.
That's going to be awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be gorgeous.
And then,
And that was
Roger,
all
you don't
taken-
have to. Roger, you don't have to. You don't have to rush on that because I've got to switch your date around. I'll
All
get
right.
with you after a while.
Okay.
Push you out to June.
Right.
Since you're.
Here's
Trying
one
to
I
make
made
another one.
Oh, beautiful, Roger.
Oh, wow.
6-7 years ago.
Nice.
It's
amazing.
So anyway, I've got to finish my demo and figure out why I'm having problems with my recording. So, but anyway, at least it's a start.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah, it's a nice start. I like that. Can't wait to watch the finished demo. All right, let's go to Joaquin.
Right. Hey,
Joaquin.
how y'all?
Good.
Well,
Nice to see you, Joaquin.
I haven't been on the lathe much. I got a couple of pieces out there on the lathe. That double bowl thing's out there. I haven't finished it yet. Got started though. But
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Good. Good to hear. That's great.
Said come back in 3 months, so that's a good sign.
Right.
About 3 weeks ago, I went to Cindy Drolzo's IRD on the mushroom boxes, and so I turned a couple of them. And it's my daughter-in-law's birthday. I give them to her. She was real happy with that, and so I had this one here, and this is made out of mesquite. And I thought, man, that hole is too small in here. What am I going to do? What could you put in that? So I decided, well, let's make a toothpick holder out of it. And
perfect.
Yeah.
Oh,
that'll work.
Yeah. Some of them, the one I give her, she could put a ring in. but I didn't like the big root on it. I like the skinnier one better. So I thought, we'll go with that. And I've always tried to mess with some toothpick holders. I've always had these keychain, 30 caliber keychains, and I put toothpicks in it also. It's a big hit.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then Todd Raines, he had a demo. It's been years ago. I think I've showed this once before. This is a piece of sandalwood, and it's a piston in a box. And I made a toothpick holder out of it. And I've done these in several showcases, like a wine barrel as well. And
yeah,
it make great gifts, as well as they sell pretty good too. So that's all I got for this week. But I got a couple of things on the lathe. Maybe I'll have for next week.
Sounds good.
It's good to be back.
Good to
Yeah,
see you,
good to have you back. Well, did we miss anybody for gallery? Anybody else have something they would like to show?
I've got this
And if
taco
you,
sanded up if you want to show it.
Yeah, let's get you highlighted here.
There you go. So that gives you a little better idea. I've cut the center out, sanded it, and sanded the two edges. I took it to the disc sander, just knocked that down real quick and easy. Put first coat of oil on it just a minute ago. So if I tilt it that way, that gives you a little bit more idea. In fact, I could hold. Gonna be something along that line. With the small box, it'll go right in there. It'll rest right in that opening. So
that looks good, Doug.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, that'll work.
That gives you a little more idea that way. Now that it's been cut and sanded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks good.
You could even use just a straight up brass rod for it.
Could set a couple bananas in it and take it to lunch,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it looks good. It's a great idea.
In Texas, it'd be a taco holder.
Yeah, you could do that. You could. I don't eat tacos though, so
I was thinking you could make one a little smaller and put napkins in it.
Sure.
Yeah. Put your beer in it and drink it.
Or make little drawers for it and make it into a little drawer box.
That's an idea.
Could have a round fronted drawer and two curved fronted drawers or flat face drawers.
Yeah.
I think that'd look pretty neat.
Sure.
well, Dane, if you need somebody else to show something, I got one piece I could show you.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
A walnut bowl, I'm guessing about 7.5 inches by 3 inches deep. Finished with Parfex.
Beautiful.
It's got quite a few cracks in it, but Parfex took care of that. When I got the walnut, I didn't get it sealed properly before it started to crack. I tried, but now when I get new wood, I get the end sealed right away with Tight Bond 3 wood glue. But that's all I got right now. I got a couple pieces downstairs in the finishing process.
All right. Sounds good. Look forward to seeing those too.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Dale.
Yep. They're
Go to the
both
wild
natural
man.
edge pieces.
What's
Hey,
going
Dale.
on?
What's your T-shirt today?
This one says, "Ask me about my wood turning projects."
It's not school safe.
No. Hold on, let me turn the camera. All right, so old regular masonite pegboard is off the wall. You've seen them on Facebook. And here we go, the Omni wall.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That's cool.
Love it.
Thanks. So that's I've just been putting it up. So it's just metal pegboard. I have two other ones. You guys have seen my big one lots when I'm doing demos and my Facebook stuff. Over here, this is their big kit that you can buy. So it's basically the size of a 4x8 sheet of masonite. And then I recently upgraded this one over here to it as well. And then that one. And then eventually those pegboards over there, I'd like to change out to it. But it's cool. They come with all these different, accessories, ways to, hook your stuff up to the wall. But I like them. So if anybody's interested and wants the pros and the cons to them, because there's definitely pros and cons in the club, you can hit me up. But I bought two more after I bought the first one, so I guess you could say I like them.
I think so.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I've got
good.
two of them in orange. So yeah.
You bought them in orange. And did you go with the Omnis or did you go with one of the other companies?
I think it was Omni. I got it through Amazon several years ago.
Okay. Yeah. I bought mine direct through Omni, but I did see that they do sell over Amazon now. But when I was comparing the prices, it was a little cheaper to go directly through the company.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, no one was doing metal at the time.
Yeah.
And when I saw them, I just loved them, but they didn't show graphics on them. I wish they had.
Yeah, this is a new thing. And this one, the American flag one was kind of expensive. And I was like, well, maybe I'll put it on my Christmas list for next year. And then I happened to be on their website and they threw it on sale. So I was like, all right, now I can justify it.
Yeah. That's why I have a toy account. I see something online and I say, okay, there's money in the toy account. Let's get it.
Right. Yep.
Hey, Doug, not to be rude, but what did that run? If you don't mind that.
Yeah, so the hold on, so this one is a kit, or I'm sorry, it's not really a kit. It's just the 3 panels and the cleats to put it on the wall. And it comes with all the little, doohickeys to mount it all. That's a technical term. That I want to say is on sale right now for like $158.
Okay.
But then they have other kits that you buy that come with the accessories as well. So this one was actually their 3-panel kit, and then I added a 4th panel kit or a 4th panel and bought a few extra accessories. The first one that I bought was the really big one over there. That's their, what do they call it? Weekend Warrior XL or something like that. That's their biggest kit. And that one, gosh, that one was pricey. I want to say it was more like around 8 something. And this one was around 300 and something. And then, like I said, I'm pretty certain I just paid 158. But if you just go on to the Omni website, it's actually a pretty user-friendly website.
Yeah, I'll check them out. Thank you.
Yeah, but their competition, if I'm saying their name right, I think is Wall Control. And so when I was looking at the reviews on them, they're not compatible with each other. So once you buy one system, if you want to be compatible or if you want to stay, you're going to want to stay the same in your workshop. But there was one guy that said he had friends that had both, so he was able to see them in person, and we checked him out. He liked the mounting system of the Omni better because these ones can mount either way. So obviously with that one, I wouldn't change it. But when it's just straight black, and you can get these in a gazillion different colors, These ones can mount horizontal, or I'm sorry, vertical like I have them, or you can turn them horizontal. So this is 16 by 32. So 16 across, 32 on the length, and I can mount them either way. It is a different cleat to mount it to your wall if you're going to go horizontal instead of vertical.
Oh, Kenny.
But again, I've never owned the wall command or wall control, but the reviews said they only mount one way.
You see families, Christian families, and one has the affair or another. They're ruined.
Very cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And Joaquin, what are you telling us? We want to hear too.
Oh, I was talking on. Let me turn this off. I was doing a message.
That's I do to my students all the time too. They'll be talking about, oh wait, no, hey, I want to hear what you're saying too, Mr. Rowe. No.
Right. All right. Let's go to Matt. He's got some whip he wants to show.
All right. Well, I just got some, a little work in progress. So I turned this the other day. And it's going to be carved. And my goal is to go to something like this. Let me see if I can do that right. So this is where I'm going with it.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, and that's how it starts off. It's cherry. Cool. It doesn't have any finish on it.
It is beautiful.
Well, thank you. It'll be better.
You'll have it ready for next week, right?
Looks good like it is.
We'll see. Yeah, I know that it's your style, but I actually got this because I did this because the heck, I'm speaking English. Yes. Let me go back to me here. Am I still highlighted? I can't tell.
Yes.
Because I see I see Joaquin on my screen, so I don't know what's going on. Okay, so I got some new beading tools that I wanted to try out. So this is see this bead here. This is the 1/4-inch bead, and this is the 1/2-inch beading tool. So I got the new tools because I was able to budget for them, and I wanted to try them out, and that's what I used them for. So they're round circular beads, just so that, and that's what I used them for. So
cool. What manufacturer beading tools?
The D-Way.
Oh, those are the big ones are D-Way. Wow.
Well, I have a bigger one and a smaller one. So I have a 1/16 of an inch one and a 3/8 of an inch one. Also, I think a 3/8. Yeah. But anyway, they're and I got a 1/8 and I got a 1/4-inch just to fill out in the holes in between so I could do different size beads. So I really like them. They work really well. Especially if you're doing burn lines, they're a great way to square things off to do burn lines so that, if you want to do 5 of them all equidistantly spaced, using a beading tool to set the points is a really great way to do it. So, and I really like this size, the 1/4-inch beading tool size. So it's pretty cool. So there you go.
Very cool. All right. Well, with that, it takes us to the top of the hour. So we'll call this the demarcation point of the main meeting, leading into the after hours.